What's up, slackers? I'm dragging ass today. Sorry I'm late, but I was trying to do all this fun stuff with you guys, and or for you guys, and I'm just exhausted. Let me know if the sound works. Where everything else, I am dragging ass today. But still, we're gonna have a bunch of fun. Just let me know if you can hear me, hear the sound of my voice. How's your quarantine doing? I feel like I'm quarantined with work. I can't do anything else but. Let's see. Come on, baby. I feel like it's taking a while to connect. Come on, YouTube, what's going on? Finally, this delay is killing me. No, we're only streaming on YouTube. Looks like YouTube's slacking. It's King Slacker to you, broski. Come on, can you guys see me yet? Whoa, there I am. About damn time. YouTube's slacking today. It's definitely not my fault. By far. Let's see what's going on. Let's see who's in the chat down here. We got Josh Gimbal, Joshua Tucker, Jesticles, BC Jesters, otherwise known as Jesticles here. I'm very bored. I missed my job. Oh, yeah. Let me know if you guys hear me. Everything sounds good. YouTube slacking today. I'm starting to finally wake up. Oh, let's see. What's up, the poets? If you guys are bored and need to check out another channel, check out the poets. Yeah, it seems like it's more than a minute delay. It's actually kind of driving me nuts. But yeah, all right. Let me stretch out. I feel like I'm just waking up. So tired. And my ugly... I am not ugly. I'm so pretty. Oh, don't mind me. I think I need like 3 Red Bulls. So you guys can hear everything? See this pretty face? Ooh, DC. What are you guys doing on your Corona vacation? I really shouldn't call it a vacation because there's some sick people out there. We don't, I don't know. We don't want to talk bad about sick, so. But yeah. Oh, what have you guys been watching? What have you guys been doing? I've been working the whole damn time. I've also been banging my head against this thing. It's been driving me nuts. Ever since we were streaming last night, I thought we were like, I don't know, I was going crazy a little bit because all the voltages that I wanted to use for memory just were not working the other day. So, I don't know. I ended up getting, I don't know. Just had a bunch of issues. And I was thinking about it, going through the BIOS and stuff. And it turns out I was using the wrong voltages. That's what happens when you use all different brands of board. If you usually stay with one brand of board, it's easier to work with. But yeah, that was a battle. I also was, I guess, setting some bad BIOS settings and stuff too, but anyways. Oh, anybody's going out on the boat? Because that's what I feel like is the only thing you can actually do around there. It's kind of crazy. I've been going stir crazy myself, and it's been so beautiful outside. I think Tampa here, we hit 90 degrees. And like not a cloud in the sky, like absolutely perfect. and we're supposed to stay inside. That sucks. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. The world feels like it's ending. But you're here with me, and we can have some bench time, some bench therapy to get us through all this. Because I know I'm going stir crazy. I need another boat day. I did a boat day last week. I'm going to actually work on that video later tonight. Might as well go over a couple plans. We're going to change up the studio this week. I'm going to move this like that. So, you guys will have a different view next time. But I'm going to end up putting another table here. I got one of them Thermaltake gaming tables. The thing's like $1,200. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm going to do a small video on it, get it up here, so that way we can do some product shots. We have the normal OC station, like this right here. And then we got the stream box and all my other monitors and all that craziness. So, oh man, I cannot just, I don't know about you guys, but I am so dragging ass on this Sunday. But yeah, we also got some good stuff going today. I'm really, really stoked about this. The Impact. Now, if you guys don't know about the Impact is basically a 2-DIMM board. I don't know, it pays homage back to the mini ITX days. If you guys ever benched like Z97 Impact or the Z170 Impact, I think they made 270. I don't think about 370 though. I don't know, Asus got a little crazy there with all the naming structures and stuff, but this is actually the first AMD Impact. So I heard that the Impact is one of my favorite boards of all time. So it was just so cool. It's just a little mini ITX board that big, but it was so powerful. So it's I'm glad to see it, and to see it on an AMD platform is pretty insane, to be honest. So we got that going. Let's see, what else we got? A brand new 3950X. Oh yeah. I'm actually stoked. This thing it's still sealed. I have not even opened it yet. I've been waiting to do this forever, it feels like. Threadripper kind of threw me off. I wasn't expecting to get a Threadripper setup, so. But we still have a lot of time for that too, but yeah, I'm wondering how this is going to be, because this is a full retail chip, not an ES chip. Who knows what it's going to be, so. It's not like a special bin that I got from AMD or anything like that, so. You never know, you're going to play the silicon lottery. Sometimes you can get epic shit, sometimes you can get some really good stuff, But yeah, super stoked about this. I have a pair of Trident Neos somewhere. I can't find them, but I think we might have to test those out. So, I guess we can go over the setup. I feel like I'm falling asleep because it's a Sunday and I've been working all week and this is my day, but I'd rather hang out with you guys. But I'm just tired and I can't get my ass rolling. I think I need another Red Bull. All right, let's take some questions. Try to wake up a little bit more. I just woke up. See, you're like me, eternal dreamers. Man, I can't wake up today. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, so if I fall asleep today and I fall on the board, just, I don't know. Just yell at me or something. All right, what do we got here? Not a rich channel. Could be that I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere. Well, everybody lives somewhere, right? It's like one of those things where if a tree falls in the middle of the woods, does anybody hear it, right? Of course! Anyways. Alright, what do we got here? I live in New York. Oof, New York's, I heard, pretty bad right now. I don't know. They go a little bit much on the news. To be honest, I'm so sick of watching the news right now, because I feel like they've taken over YouTube, too. Like, that's the only thing you can watch is about that. Like, I feel like people need to get all their minds off that and have some fun and enjoy life, and I don't know. So yeah, now I'm starting to get it. Didn't I get like 7 hours of sleep? Jesticles, I hate you right now. No, I woke up at like 9:30. Went to bed at like 4 a.m. Maybe like 4:30. So I had like maybe like 5.5 hours, something like that. So I'm exhausted. But give me a little bit. This is usually the time I start waking up during the day. I'm more of a night owl. Don't try to wake me up early in the morning and me to be like, oh, hey guys, what's going on? Be all happy. Hell no. I might rip your head off in the morning. But anyway. To Poets, what kind of boat do you have over there? I just have a small, so we might as well talk about a boat day because we got a boat video coming up. I have a 19-foot Yamaha. It's a jet boat. I know most people say, yeah, it's a jet boat, but I don't give a shit because in the Gulf, you can go miles out and it's only like 10 feet deep. So the jet boat is just nice because you only need a really, really small draft. I think I need about a foot of draft, maybe not even that when you're planing across the water. So I'm pretty fond of the jet boats on the Gulf side. But yeah, dude, it was nice. I should have been out last night or yesterday, but it's kind of weird being out because there's so many people going out. So, oh, Dave, get to benching slacker. I know, I'm waking up. I need to finish the damn Red Bull, and that's killing me. All right, so let's get into the overclocking, huh? Actually, let me get a Red Bull real quick, and then we'll go. Say I'm an owl. I am an owl. So, Joe, you were talking about I live in New York, and I haven't heard anything with anyone with Corona. I've heard of a couple friends having it, stuff like that, but I don't know. I think people panic too much. People need to relax and slack a little bit. Come on, can be a vacation. I know people are worried about jobs and stuff, but sometimes I just need a vacation from my vacation or something. I don't know. But anyways, let me grab another Red Bull because we're definitely dragging ass right now. And then we're going to get into it, and I'll show you the setup, what I learned, basically what's going on. Because the stream looks like it's going good. We got music. You guys hear the music? Let me know how the music is, and I'll be right back. Ugh. Wake up! Ugh. Sweet, and I'm back. Did you guys miss me? We went to baby size. I don't know. Anyway, so we got the X299 OC formula from ASRock. Why? Where are we gonna go here? Let me change the views. We'll give you a preview first of what we've been doing. So if you guys are new to the Slacker channel, last week, or I think it was around last week, we basically got the X299 OC formula. We were having some memory issues. We got it to around maybe 5.4, 5.5. I know we clocked it up to 5.5, but it failed a bit. But I was having issues, and I'm like, why can't I get memory to even do like 3600? And I was like, I don't know, just going crazy last week. So I had the brain basically turning through, trying to figure out what is going on, and oh man, I finally ended up figuring it out like last night, going through and a couple issues and stuff. So I was able. I'll show you guys my my top clocks for now, just on water. It's pretty cool. Matt Carroll, thanks for the $2.99, slacker. Let's see. We'll go over a little bit of timings first. In the meantime, make sure to like the stream or Joe will invite me over for topless live streaming. Ain't nobody want to see that, Justicles. So anyway, make sure it's sharing. We were able to do pretty well once I figured out that I was using the right voltages. So this is pretty much fully stable. I can run this pretty much all day long. So we're at about 37, 33 at 12, 11, 11, 24, 190, 1T. Now, this is basically CPU-Z. I was trying to find a program where I could find the timings. I had one, but the certain bias that I'm using now just doesn't seem to like to throw timings in the OS. So let me see if I can find No, I don't think there's one on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the BIOS and show you exactly what I did. Tell you which voltages were working. Because it seemed like I confused a couple different voltages. So if you're working with memory on an Intel platform, doesn't matter if it's Z170 or if it's X299, they have a couple IMC voltages. So you have VCCIO and usually system agent. Now on the smaller Z platform, like Z170, Z270, Z370, Z390, they're killing me with all these. And then the newest one that comes up. But yeah, so they basically, I forgot what they're saying now. But yeah, they use the same voltages. On the smaller platforms, it's usually more on VCCIO and SA. Even on the big platform, it's the same. ASRock likes to do it a little bit different though. Gotta hit the delete. You can tell how tired I am. But he's capable of OCing with cough drops alone. Johnny Chang, what's up, browski? Yeah, I even actually jumped at our, you'll see my TRFC is what, 190? I tried 180, but then my scores were kind of shit, so that's usually what I do is I'll push it, and then if I have an issue, then I'll lax it a little bit, if you know what I'm saying. Alright, for some reason YouTube's kind of, so there's an interface that I use for YouTube and it's so behind, like it's kind of ridiculous. So I'm hoping I'm showing you the screen because on my stuff it is. So if you guys can let me know that if you can see the BIOS right now, you'll see that we have 32 gig of memory. These are G-Skill Trident Royal. I think they're like a 4K bin, but these are super bin ones. So these are like out of my special, I don't know, pocket or Viking holder thing that I have. I don't know. But anyway. So if you see, obviously you see their G-Skill. You can see it right up in there. We're getting all quad channel. One of the biggest issues that I have right now is we're running at 3733. I know it says 32, but ignore that. But if I try to go any higher right now on air or water, I'll end up basically dropping these DIMMs. So we're going to keep it at 3733 for now. Maybe when we're cold, because you can get a little bit of cold scale when you start dropping the temperatures, that maybe we can push that a little bit. Maybe you can go to 3800, 3900. From what I've seen though, from talking, if you guys don't know who Nick Shee is, basically he's the one that has his name all over this board. I was talking to him and he said that probably 3800's enough that you don't necessarily need to go over that on this platform. So I guess we'll have to find out. But so we'll go over to the BIOS settings and I'll tell you the voltages. So I'll tell you basically what I learned from last week. Number one is last week we were using the X299 OC formula. We're using the P190 BIOS. And after debugging a little bit, that's the newest BIOS that's up on ASRock. I ended up going back to an older BIOS. I kept on getting issues where I was dropping channels all the time, even for like 3500 or 3600 memory, which should not happen on these modules. Are pretty much, and on a newer 10980. So actually I want to raise the music a little bit. But yeah, so we got, what was I gonna say? But anyway, we were basically going through voltages. I was having a tough time. If you remember the last one, we'll go over here. Before I was pushing like 195 volt. Now, like I said, these memory modules are pretty special. So we're running around 3733, and it's more of an IMC limitation. If it was Z270, 370, you could push 4K much easier. But remember, that's dual channel versus quad channel. So on the quad channel, I'm doing only about 1.8 volts. Usually you want to do a little bit lower. From what I've read and I've talked to by my old teammate Splave, Alan, you know, he breaks a bunch of world records and stuff. He says that the newer A2s, which this is the type of memory that I have now, basically usually likes up to 1.95 and needs it on this board. Well, I'm doing this just at 1.8, so it just shows you how good these modules are. We're going to probably use these modules on the Impact. We're going to use them on pretty much on every board we have. These are the same modules that, if you look at the video where I showed you how to remove the actual heat spreader, these are that same modules. So those modules, anybody who thought, oh, it might kill them, they're working wonderfully. But yeah, so obviously you have dim you have to set, and on this platform, since it's quad channel, you set it in pairs. So you have these two pairs. I think this is C and D, and this is, or I think it goes B and A, and then D and C, or something like that. So you're basically doing 1.8 here, and then 1.8 here. I don't know. Let's see. So if you look here, we have VCCIO or VCCIO and VCCSA. Now, this is where I was setting voltages in part of my problem last time. When I was going in here and setting, I was setting anywhere a bunch of voltages, but it felt like nothing was working. So what I did is I talked to Nick, and I'm like, well, which ones am I supposed to manage? And he goes, well, those aren't the voltages you're supposed to be using. And I go, oh, you're kidding me. These voltages you can actually leave on auto. So right now, you can see what it takes to run. It will automatically set this. So you'll see it's at 1.3 for VCCIO, and it's 1.35 for VCCSA. Now, I was messing with those before, and I felt like it wasn't doing anything pretty much any time. So that's why I was having so much of a problem. So basically what I did is I kept these on auto, and there's another voltage. So if we go into Fibra, we don't like the Fibra. No, the reason why we don't like the Fibra is that's why we have cold issues on these Intel platforms. We can't go full cold because of that whole thing. It sucks. But anyway, we go under there, we have V-Core, we have Mesh, which is, obviously the Mesh is kind of like Infinity Fabric for AMD. And then you have this other one called System Agent. So instead of setting on the other two, you can leave those at auto, and what you can do is you basically use the System Agent voltage offset to pump up the voltage. So what you do want to do is you basically want to, it's weird because they don't give you like a fixed voltage, so you can't say that like, okay, I want 1.2 volts, right? What it's going to do is it's going to have a base, I think, of 1 volt, and you want to push 1 volt plus whatever value is here. So we're putting 0.3, because that's what the IMC needs for this. So that would be about 1.3 volts. So in there, you just want to put the addition. It's kind of weird, I know. Not really sure why they do it that way, but that's pretty much what we're stuck with. So I think the other issue that I was having, what I ended up nailing down, why I was having problems with certain cold and certain memory stuff. I found out I was doing a lot of, for the PCIe, shutting them off, going to hard coding to like 4x4x4, and there might be a bug that I found in there, which would not let me overclock memory, which is pretty much ridiculous at this point. Let me see if I can fix YouTube real quick. Just give me 1 second. Because it's very slow to update. Yeah, see, now it's coming up. I see a BIOS and the 300 pounds of cuddle bear. Easy there, Jesticles. Yeah, so it's hard. For some reason, the YouTube interface keeps freezing, so I'm trying to manage that at the same time. They need to fix that shit already. Because the last two times that I've streamed, I've been having this issue. But anyway, so if you're going in here, before last time you saw me basically go in here and set all 4x4, 4x4, don't do that, just leave it at auto. What he established in those rules, it's pretty much automatic to a certain point. Like, you really only want to touch that if you want to try to get like X16, or if you're doing some dual card stuff, if you want to do like dual card records. We're not going to do any of that right now, but maybe in the future. If you go in here, like all these PCIe link speeds and stuff, just leave them at auto. I set them up to PCIe Gen 1, and it was causing me issues. So I ended up changing that over. I went through pretty much every setting in the BIOS. You'll see that it's running. I usually turn off execute disable bit, all the C states, because we don't want the clock fluctuation. Ugh. Can't talk today. I need more Red Bull. What's up, Mardell? Slacker. Man. I'm dragging ass today, but I'm going through some good shit today. Let's see. So the other thing is DRAM configuration. So an interesting thing that I found out, I mean, you gotta understand that I've benched probably, since I really benched this board, it's probably been like 2 years. So going through there, it takes a little bit to refresh and get back into it. It's like, you know, like you always remember how to ride a bike, but you're not always remember doing like major tabletops on the bike. You can't just 20 years later jump on it, do some tabletops. Maybe you can, but you know what I mean. But yeah, for what I've noticed is that basically, if you're having issues with memory, no matter what, the first thing you want to do is set the XMP profile. Apparently it does some training in the background, so I never usually set this. Last time I didn't set it, but I ended up setting it, and I actually had a bunch, it was much easier to train memory. So if you're using this board and you're having some issues with memory, make sure you set the XMP settings. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to use XMP, because if you go down further, right, you'll see that I'm hard-coding. First, you'll see that these are DDR4 4800 series. I think I said it, they were 4Ks. Sorry, I was wrong, 4800. But down the DRAM frequency, I'm only at 3733. You'll see that obviously XMP is not 1211, so these ones are pretty stellar. So we're running 1211, 1124. We're running 1 on TWR. You can pretty much run up to 30 without a performance hit. So we're there. We're at TRFC 190. I went down to 180, and then it started going a little bit weird. But yeah, I need more Red Bull for sure. Red Bull. But yeah. So we got TWR, and then we got TRFC 190. I'm leaving the other ones at auto. The main other ones that I set were TFAW and TCWL. Now these are listed differently. If you're looking at from like an Asus board, and then you go into this ASRock board, things are going to be around. Like, it's one of the biggest pain in the ass things that you have to deal with from benching all different boards and stuff. But yeah, so. Usually I think this one is TWCL. This is why I get mixed up on boards and I mess up all the voltages and stuff. So, but yeah. So these ones I sit down, make sure they're hard-coded. I can't say hard-coded today for some reason. We also set the T-Riffy, T-Clock, and I just put everything on auto for now. I didn't want to go too much into detail in those. You can usually leave them for auto. Says he's clipping every time he moves his head towards the mic. Yeah, it's probably for the music. Let me lower it a tiny bit. Is that better? So anyway, one of the biggest things that people don't understand about memory is a little thing called RTLs. I forget the acronym for them, but these are very important. So you have RTLs and IOLs. Now, most people are just ignore this section in here, but this is an actually very important section, and this section has been pissing me off too. So a lot of different times, so depending on what board manufacturer and what platform you use, and it's also kind of Intel's fault too in a way, because they're the ones who gives you a lot of these settings and how you manipulate them. What's going on, Uruguay OC? What's up, brother? But yeah, so these are RTLs. Now, you want a certain RTL pairing when you're benching, right? The tighter your RTL, which means a lot of the times, this is all usually taken care of by the board. And what it does is they do it automatically. But a lot of the times, the board doesn't find the right timing. Now, on this board, it does it automatically. But on a lot of other boards, you can set it manually. I think it's round trip latency or return trip latency, something like that. But you want to have a certain pairing that's proper. Now, some boards let you set this, so I could go in here and be like, yeah, I want this 49, 51. This one probably should be 49 right now. And then 51. So you notice you'll have a pairing. So if you think about it, if you logically look at, say, the motherboard, right? So this is a 4-slot board. 2 slots on the top, 2 slots at the bottom. Quad channel. The 2 closest channels usually have a tighter RTL. So that's usually where you want to put the best memory, all right? And then you have the other pairing on the other side is usually the lower RTL. Now, right now, this is kind of a bad example because this is kind of one of the problems I was having, and I kind of still am having. It doesn't always get the RTLs right. And during that memory training, so when you reboot the board, when it goes through memory training, it basically it's kind of a pain in the ass because they don't seem to always do what I kind of want them to do. I wish I can set this manually, but I can't. So you're kind of screwed on what you can do. So what I'll usually do is I'll go in here and let's see. RTLs. Let me try 1212. We're just going to reboot real quick. And I'll show you it again. Yeah, but before I was having this weird issue where the RTLs were going really, really bad. So I ended up trying to reach out to a couple people. I was like, can you manually set RTLs? Because on some boards you can set RTLs, and it's kind of, I don't know, it can be frustrating. Because on some boards I can just pop it in there and be like 4951, 4951, 66, or 86, 86. It's a whole different combination. And of course now I have issues. I was also talking to Nick about the 53. 53 is usually no memory. So you end up, when you start doing more memory testing, you start learning what, like, the postcodes, where they fail, kind of learn what they mean. And of course now I'm just getting 53. What a pain in the ass. Ugh. I've had a bunch of inconsistencies on that board where I don't like, but at least I'm not losing channels on the memory. What was happening before is that I would only have like 3 out of 4 modules almost every other time, and the harder I'd go from 4 to 3, sometimes 2. It was very frustrating doing this. So I was up till like 4 a.m. doing this. That's why I'm kind of dragging ass today. I'm not my normal spunky self. Alright, let's go back in there. Sometimes it hangs on the retrain. So what training is when you first boot up, it goes through and it tests the memory modules and basically sets the RTLs. So if you go in here, you'll see that there's a button on here, a retry button. So what I just did is I hit that button and it brought up everything, but it not at those settings. It basically set the default settings. So because you'll see here you have CL15. I actually have CL1212 set, but it's running at CL15. This gives you the option so that way if you have like beastly settings, like say you're going 5.5 already, it won't do that, and you'll basically have less risk of ruining stuff. So just a pro tip. That's why this board is a badass board, don't get me wrong. Let's see what RTLs are at. So usually as a good baseline is kind of get a oh, that's why I forgot to change these auto. See, you see what happens when I set or try to modify the RTL, I get into trouble. It basically just 53. So on this board, you basically cannot set the RTLs. So it will automatically do it for you. Any rumors when the 10980XE will hit the market? That's a good question. I haven't heard. I've heard people buying them and getting them, and then I've heard other people saying that they're hard to get. So this one is directly from Intel. Intel Marketing set it up for me. So I'm not sure on the availability. So I can't really help you out there. I would say I could have sworn I've seen a bunch of them for sale, though. I'm not sure about that. I don't know with everything going on with the quarantine about how products are selling out. I know there's probably a bunch of delays, so if they're not there, they'll probably come out sometime soon. So, I have it on DDC and runs super cool, but memory is very special, so mesh. Not even sure what you're talking about, slacker. But anyway, let's get into it a little bit more. So, I've eventually come down to, actually, yeah, let's go in here. Let's go back to the RTLs again real quick. Sometimes when you set to like 1211, sometimes the RTLs get a little bit messed up. So you see now that I went from 1211 to 1212, and look at my RTL. My RTL is at 49, 51, 49, 51. Before, the RTL was wrong on C. It was basically 51. So I want to make sure that the ones that are closer are the tightest ones. So if you go down, you also see that they're IOLs too. So usually I can set these, usually on say dual channel 6.6 is pretty tight, that we usually get on like Z170, Z370, Z390, all those, like the Apex. But obviously we can't set them here, but 6.8 is pretty much where we want. This is really tight, it's very clean. I'm going to try at 1211 again to see if we can maybe get the RTL to train right, but it doesn't always work. And to try to get it to work, you might have to adjust the system agent voltage a little bit more, or even mess with the VDIM, going up from 1.8. Maybe we need to go from 1.8 to 1.825 or something? I don't know. You guys got any questions on it? On memory? Oh, man. I think I'm starting to wake up now. I'm still dragging ass, but... let's see what RTL we gotta get. I've been literally playing with this over and over and over for hours. I probably should have streamed it. You can see my head going... get my beard caught in there. Just going crazy. Let's see. So let's go back and see what it trained to. This is why you got to pay attention to each reboot and make sure to see what's going on. I know most guys don't show that in benching wise. Yeah, so see? Now we have the RTL correctly, right? If you look, we have 49.51, 49.51, 6.8, 6.8. Right? So that's good. That's what we want. So now what I'm going to do... we're going to boot. So we're going to do a couple runs, and I'll kind of show you exactly what this chip is doing. So because after this, so I'll show you a little bit what the plans for today are to push this on liquid nitrogen. But obviously from the last couple of streams we've done, we've had some issues, obviously, when we get cold for a while, and that's just normal. All the condensation that comes with being in such a tropical humidity, you have to tear down. You can't just bench for hours and hours. Maybe if you're in Vegas, you can, but not here. So you basically, when we get to that point where the system's not booting anymore, what we'll do is we'll start kicking over to the 3950X, and we'll start comparing. But we need to have some scores to compare to. So instead of comparing scores on liquid nitrogen right away, I'm going to kind of go through and have a nice water setup, and then go over and see what the AMD chip can do. So we'll see how far we can get. But yeah, let's boot it up and get some scores. Now, right now we're booting up just to go through. So we're at 4.5 right now on the 1090XE. We're 3,000 on the mesh. Just with the 100 base clock. AVXs are 4,500. Target memory speed is 3733. So basically everything I've showed you. Remember, always save your profile. I think the standard voltage is, so the CPU, remember what I was talking about with the last video and the last stream? We were talking about CPU input voltage. And it's very important here, because it's like the biggest... it's the main voltage that with the big platform, the big Intel platform, that controls the whole flow of voltage into the chip in general. So it's kind of like the spigot. You turn off that spigot, the chip gets nothing. There's voltages inside the chip that get set, and when they start pulling more from that, you need to basically raise the spigot to fill them out. You know what I mean? You got to basically raise the flow. So right now we're not pushing too hard, so I'm only at about 1.8. But and when we get to liquid nitrogen, we're going to start pushing up to about 2.25. Memory's good at right now for 1.8. We're going to leave that because we want to concentrate on the chip. We know we have good memory settings. So the next one is we go to CPU core voltage. So right now we're only at 1.15 at 4.5 gigahertz. The mesh voltage is only at 1.1. We're at basically 3 gigahertz for the mesh, which is actually really good. The biggest difference between, say, the 7980XE, the 9980XE, and the 10980XE is this. So the mesh is supposed to be better on the 10980XE. So far, I haven't found that the IMC is better on the 10980. I feel like it's kind of the same. I've heard from other people saying that that's not true, but from my testing with this chip, it's pretty much the same as the 9980 and the 7980. I think the only other thing is obviously it's soldered, but the 9980XE was soldered too. Man, that's a mouthful. They need to change that stuff. So, but yeah, you're gonna have IPC differences and stuff too, and obviously overclocking. So, but yeah, and then obviously we have 0.3 volts for the SA. So, we're just gonna end up going and booting. Make sure it's plugged in. Let's see, what do we got here? The year is 1985, 5 volts, only 79 likes. What's up, suckers? Come on, let's get some likes. I know we're dragging ass here, but it's from me testing to figure this shit out for you guys. Oh, man, I'm exhausted. But yeah, so if you guys want any shirts or anything signed from me, I'm going to have some stickers up. I got some sweatshirts out. Yeah, go to beardedhardware.com. Now, most people might be confused on how do you get shirts, because I have one on YouTube through Teespring. That's an easier one if you're in Europe and you want to get that. It's a good way to do it. Because most of the stuff that I hand do is only in the USA, unfortunately. It's kind of a pain in the ass for shipping. I'm still working on that. I don't have that much time yet. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we're going to change that. But yeah, if you put in the notes there, I'll autograph it for you. But yep, beardedhardware.com. We got a bunch of stuff coming. I got new stickers coming. I still got hats coming. Just a bunch of stuff coming. So just pay attention there. Sign up on the email list, and we'll notify you when you got some good stuff. But yeah, I'm dragging ass. But let's get into it a little bit. So you'll see, I'll go over in CPU-Z. We're using Benchmate. If this is the first time you're following any of my streams, if you go to benchmate.org, Benchmate is a tool that basically for verification. Unfortunately, we have people that try to cheat. This is basically to combat cheaters and for also bragging rights. So you can actually say, well, my stuff's valid, you might be cheating. Just kidding, of course. But if we go over the settings, we're running at 4.5, like I showed you before, about 1.5 volts. This is an ES chip. It's not, I wouldn't say super bin chip or anything like that. We're going over the cache sizes. You have a bunch of cache. That's one of the nice things about the 18 cores. You'll see right here, it's obviously the ASRock X299 OC formula. We're using the P.80B version. Now the graphics interface is on a X8. Now we have memory, obviously here. If we if we lost the channel, you would see triple up here. Or a dual, depending on how many modules, depending on how hard you're pushing memory. And obviously you'll see that we're running 3733. Now, obviously, yeah, it doesn't look like 3733, but you always double that. So 1865 times 2, check the math, that's what it equals. So we're at 12, 11, 11, 24, 190, 1T. Like I said before, I pushed down to 180 on TRFC and it wasn't liking it. But so we'll do our first bench. We'll go over to R15, see what it does. You'll see I like to push R15 over to the side. It likes to give it a little bit more points because it doesn't show on the screen, so we'll just try that. Can't wait for Black Friday. Black Friday is like a year from now, bro. Do SuperPi. SuperPi is really not that great on the server OSs. You have to really... One of the big things, the sticklers about SuperPi in general, is you really want to run it on Windows XP. Now, I've heard some interesting things about running on like the AMD platform for SuperPi. I'm working on maybe a series that we'd have to do just for people to learn SuperPi, because it's it might sound stupid and all, but it's one of the best benchmarks. It's like the OG of benchmarks. It's like you can't just expect to I'm going to install SuperPi and run it. You basically have to go through a lot of different steps. You got to make sure You're tweaked right. You got every little detailed setting down. And then you're basically going through memory a shit ton. It's not the easiest one, so I'm trying to think of how I can do a series on learning it. Because I think if you're going to get into benching, or if you want to know any benching history and stuff, it's one of those benchmarks that I think every bencher should know. So we're not going to do that currently on this. I think we might, though, do something on the 3950X with SuperPi. That was one of the things why I wanted a 3950 to begin with. So, but yeah, so let's get over to the scores. So we're at 4.5, about 44.36. Let's see how that winds up, or how that goes up, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to change this view real quick. And I'm going to go over to what's called HWBot. Now, if you guys have never been over here before, this is where basically all the scores are, right? And let's see, let's go over. What I like to do is I like to go over and kind of see how I'm doing compared to other people, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to go down here. We're going to go to R15. See, you can see how many CPUs. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to 18 CPU, right? So if we look at rankings, R15, now these are the top scores. Obviously, we're not up there yet because we were only about 5.4, 5.5-ish. So let's go down. Should probably look on water, but I like to go down and kind of see what the score is going. Because I want to see what kind of score I'm getting compared to everybody else. So that way I can compare what's called my efficiency. So we're right now getting about 4,441 at 4.5. So it looks like around pretty much on point. So you're looking at about 4.435. Is around 4.5. Seems about good. What you want to do is you want to kind of see what everybody else is doing and kind of compare to what's going on. So let's see. Because this way it gives you an idea of maybe if you have something wrong with the operating system, or it's kind of funny that I actually did like 5.7 on my 7980XE. I guess I never posted it. I kind of stopped posting on HWBot for a while. But anyways, let's go back into here. Whoa, I'm messing up views. There we go. Alright, hold on. Alright, what's going on, Joshua Bell? On your lunch break, what's going on? Let's see, what does memory command do? T1 or T2? I don't even know what you're talking about, T1. Anyways, so OC those series to avoid HT. Best way to OC these series is to avoid hyperthreading. Hyperthreading always creates heat, that's for sure. Have you ever used R15 Extreme? Very shortly. I'm not really, I don't know. I feel like there's almost too many Cinebenches. So it's kind of like one of those things where, do we really need another R15? But yeah, I saw it. It's just basically a little bit more extreme. At this point, I think it's probably just better to run R20. Actually, Mediocre Gamer. What's up, Slacker? Let's see. Super 195. I'd love you to show me that SuperPi because live, I've been trying to figure out if I should run 32M. Well, every bencher should learn 32M. So we're not going to do that today, but we will do that. Hey, did you say what kind of boat you have? I was on the phone. Oh my gosh. Anyways, 4939, I think you passed so fast. Oh, is that you maybe? TRFC 180. I know I went down that far and it just was not good. So I'm going to build the Lilian. Man, I don't know if you guys checked on Twitter, but that I was talking about doing cases, and that's for that big monstrosity gigabyte board I have. And I was looking at asking people to send me cases, and Pantera MP sent me this on Twitter. It was basically this giant boat that Lillian Lee made. It's pretty cool. I think we might have to do something with that in the future. But it's the weirdest case. I can't believe I've never even saw it. I think I was pretty sure I was at that CES, and I'm just surprised I never saw it. But it's pretty cool if you ever check it out. I forget the name of it. What they act. If you probably go Lillian Lee or Lian Lee boat, it'd probably come right up. But yeah, so let's try to push it a little bit more. I was able to work out some of the issues with Formula Drive. As long as I set the voltage and I don't touch it in the OS, I really don't have too many issues. So what we'll do is we'll try 4.6. Now, the cooling that I have here is not really the greatest. You really need big fans and a really nice, a couple pumps to really just. These things are heat monsters, man. Anything 3950X up, like with major cores, is really a heat monster. So you want to have good fans, you want to have good rads, you want to have good pumps, you want to have pretty much good CPU block. And this is kind of all put together, but I do like the setup for a normal PC, but for Extreme OC, it's not really the extremist, if you know what I mean. But so we'll go over here. We're at 4.6. Close it. We're gonna go to CPU-Z. Make sure it's running at 4.6. Yeah, that 28 core. I know he's been busting my balls about that 28 core all the time. We will get to that one. To be honest, the 28 core. The real bitch about the 28 core is the mount. You thought that Threadripper from my Threadripper video was a pain in the ass, dude. The 3647 socket is just, oof. It's almost too much. So if you see here, basically we're at 4.6. I always check it. We got 18 cores. A nice little thing about CPU-Z, if you haven't used it, is if you right-click it, you can actually see what all cores are going. It almost looks like we have an issue here, though. You guys see that? It's actually running 100 megahertz lower. That's a problem. I want to see if the score comes up and matches to what I'm doing. Let's see. I probably should have opened it up, but it looks like I'm actually getting screwed there. Hot out today on... I should be on a boat today, but I decided to spend some time with you fine guys. And where are my tater tots, Adam? I am starving, to be honest. Alright, so what do we have? 4552, so that's actually a good improvement. But I do not like this. I need to find why these are, This is kind of an issue that I've noticed spread out. So you see how it's like 100 megahertz down? Can you guys see that? Yeah, you guys can. So I'm going to make sure, I'm going to click that and then go over here. If you notice, so basically core 16 and 17 are 100 megahertz lower. So that shit's affecting my score, which is not cool. Which means I cannot set that in the OS. So that's a problem that I just noticed. I didn't realize it was basically downclocking 2 cores every time I set it in the OS. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to use maybe Intel, the Intel XTU has a program in there where you can actually change. So I think we might have to use that if we want to do it in an operating system. So let me just set it, I'm going to set it to 4.6 to see what it does in CPU-Z to see if it's still downclocking that 100 megahertz. Because we don't want to be putting it on LN2 when it's not reporting accurately what it's supposed to be. So let's change the CPU to 4.6, make sure that they're all 4.6. Plug this back in. That sucks. Shellback Tech, what's up, boss? Just threw up another testimonial. Nice. What's up, Slacker? If you guys haven't checked out Shellback Tech, I know he'll be at LTX this year. He does some really cool stuff, man. So please check out his channel. Maybe actually, yeah, just follow him. He does some great stuff on Twitter. He builds machines for veterans, and we're all about the veterans. You gotta take care of the veterans, bro. That's where it's at. All right, so let's see. This is sometimes about overclocking. It can be very frustrating. You play around. Sometimes you notice things, and it can be a pain in the ass to troubleshoot things. But it's also kind of therapeutic. Kind of make you feel good. Ooh, Roy Rainey, Lake Tarpon is nice today. You know, I haven't been on Lake Tarpon in like 2 years. I need to go over there. I need a boat day to go scout for alligators. I love doing that in Lake Tarpon because you can go into the little inlets and everything, and basically you'll see live gators everywhere. It's pretty cool. It's like your own zoo in a way with wildlife. I love it. All right, let's try this again. All right, so it says 4.6. Make sure you guys can see. We got 4.6. Ah, look at that. So we are running at 4.6 the whole time. Yep. So it looks like I can't set it there, which is a problem. Yep, we scored higher already. Alright, so that's a problem. So that means we can't use the formula drive utility, which sucks. Alright. Oh, 1T or 2T, that's what you were talking. Yeah, 1T is much faster. You'll see that if we do in like something where like in the 4800, we're using 2T because you can't go 1T. It's kind of hard to explain. I'll probably have to do something when we do get more into memory about it. Just working on builds as always. What's up, Mike Hensley? Just working on builds. Nice shirt. Wore that one yesterday. Yeah, I love my Thermaltake shirt. They were nice enough to give me their 40-year shirt. I love it. It's actually really comfortable. And my shirts are actually made of the same material, so kind of crazy. All right. Let's see. 2 clock cycles, so 2T will be more stable in overclocking. Yeah, so there's this fine line. I might as well get into it since Super 195 is already going into it. It's basically 1T is going to be better at a certain frequency, and 2T is going to be better at another frequency. You won't be able to run 4800 1T. It's just how it is. So just because it's slower doesn't necessarily mean it's actually slower, because if you're changing too many variables. So, but anyway, so Florida man dies in Lake Tarpon. Sure as hell wasn't me. I'll probably find his ass though. What do you do with gators? Just watch, hang out. You can't feed the gators because that's frowned upon. But anyway, make shoes and wallets. Nice. Power limit. No, it has nothing to do with power limit. If you set BIOS settings, you should hit every time. But if you do Windows, it hates the core count. Yeah, that's what it seems like. On your MSI Meg Godlike, do you know if TPM-6 and hardware mode is the chipset? I have no idea, dude. To be honest, I haven't touched that MSI board in a little while, so it's going to be a little bit before I even get back to it. Because I'm going on the Impact next, so gonna be a little tough. Is Intel ITU good to overclock, or is it better through the BIOS? I don't know. I haven't really tested the Intel stuff, so I need to try and play. Package 2 per core. They do too many error messages. Alright, so it looks like we can actually use XTU. It's cool, in XTU you can actually see like all the utilization. It's kind of a tough here. They organize it a little bit better for you to see. So it looks like we can set it in here. It's not that my favorite to pro. Usually I want some type of program that's just small. This XTU is a little heavy on the system. I'm not too much of a fan, so. But it looks like we can change clock here. So let's see if 4.7 is really what we're getting. Problem is, anytime I run XTU, I just want to exit. So we are running at 4.7. Let's see. I don't know if this voltage is going to allow it, but let's try it. Yeah. At least we know it works. So that's what we're going to have to do, is we're going to basically have to clock through Intel XTU. But yeah, I guess maybe we'll do a run of R20 and then let's get started and do some liquid nitrogen stuff. Because I'm dying to do it. I've been waiting all week because I had... Sometimes you get stuck on trying to figure out certain parts of boards and stuff. But it's all worth it. It's kind of therapeutic once you figure it out. Because you'll be banging your head just keep banging your head and playing with it. And then you actually like, oh man. And it could be just one stupid little setting. Basically the story of my life in the IT industry. Could be that little one setting that's just bringing down the whole damn thing. But yeah, so we're going to keep on doing 4.5. Actually, I think 4.6 is stable at 1.15, so we'll jump it up there. Make sure Intel XTU is still working, all that good stuff. Hey Joe, is XTU same as manually doing it over the in the BIOS? Not really. You're basically changing a register. It's probably... Here's the thing. I usually like to boot up with certain voltages, and the reason why is for liquid nitrogen type stuff, I don't want it booting up at 5.8 or 5.6 every single time, because a lot of the times we have issues with paste where it can crack, and if you're trying to boot it up at like 5.6 and the paste is completely cracked, that means there's nothing really trying to keep it cold. So you want to be careful with that. So usually what I do is I boot in lower, and always have that stay there, and then I go into the operating system and I'll change it in there, so that way it creates less risk of killing the chip, because I've seen a lot of times where people do that and then they didn't figure out that paste is the issue, and it just causes a world of problems, and you basically kill your shit. And killing shit's not always the greatest. I mean, there's sometimes like blowing stuff up is kind of fun, but when you're killing hardware that's really expensive, it kind of sucks. But anyway, so we're at 4.6. Did we set that? Let's see. I thought it was at 4.5. So it looks like XTU might have changed it and then raised it. I don't know. I gotta be careful for that because I don't want to be rebooting at 5.5. So we're almost getting ready. We're gonna end up going to liquid nitrogen in a little bit. Let's see. Trying to catch up on some of these. Is Intel ITU? I haven't really used. I'm not sure what you're talking about, ITU. We'll take a difference in dual rank memory or daisy chains. Yes, actually, it will make a huge difference depending on what the motherboard layout is. I've got a pretty dedicated RAM fan sitting in the garage, cooling off my RAM by running 38CL14 until the heat catches up with it. So nice, Bender. Working on Gears of War, Marcus Fenix modded build as we speak to a special content creator recipient. Dude's gonna crap himself. I'm making the Antec P120 crystal screen. If you haven't got a chance to check out Shellback Tech, I highly recommend it. It does some good things for good people. Oh, hey Joe, is XTU the same as manual? Oh, we already went over that. It's really not the same. Two different things. King Tilly, what's up, Slacker? Shellback Tech, if LTX still happens, I'm gonna show up in a ghillie suit with a gas mask on, frequent us out. Sounds like a plan to me. I might want to join up in that. I'll probably freak him out just by seeing me anyway. Anyway, so Mark, I'm not positive, but if you think you're running 4 RAM stick and trying to overclock on a daisy chain, you want to do 2T because daisy chain, yeah. Daisy chain with 2T is most likely. You can still run 1T, but just not high frequency. Why would you have a ghillie suit on? Why wouldn't you have a suit on? Let's see. Yes, of course. If you want a loud boom, put a little on too in a 20-ounce soda bottle. Put crap in tight and throw it. Yeah, trust me, I know. Not my first time, Slacker. All right. So let's get into it again. Kind of forgot what I was doing. Oh, yeah. We want to make sure that it's at 4.6. I'm going to set this back to 4.5. I want to see if... I just want to double-check this before we get into liquid nitrogen, because I don't want to set it to like 5.5 in XTU. And then I reboot next and it's still at 5.5. So, I mean, I don't mind if it does that. I just that way I know, so that way I don't risk my stuff as. I just don't want to kill my shit. All right. All right. So what's up, Slackers? We have 212 concurrent viewers right now and only 129 likes. Come on, let's like it up. Like it up. Like and make sure you subscribe too, because I love doing this stuff for you, and if you enjoy it, it's going to be coming more and more as we get on in the next couple of months. If I would stop working so much, maybe I'd have more content, but that might be possible in the next week or two. Let's see, so let's do an R20. Oh, yeah. I want to check to make sure we're at 4.5 first. Julius, what's up, Slacker? To just randomly hide inside the center and pop out and scare people in the meet and greet. That probably might not be good right now because so many people are panicking. All right, so we did 45. Let's just make sure. I hate when I do that. All right, so we're at 46. Okay, we're at 46 now. I guess we can do a run at 46. It might work. I don't remember if I tried our 24/6. All I know is 4.5 runs like rock stable. I know it's sometimes nice to just be able to like, oh, I'm doing 4.7, but you gotta be realistic. You don't want to be on like where it's just on the edge of the performance stability. You want hardcore rock stable. I'm one of those guys that I would just want to beat the hell out of it, so it's got to be pretty stable, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't go as far as doing like prime stable for like 10 days. It's a little bit overkill, if you know what I'm saying. But I want to be able to run a benchmark all the time, and it all depends on what benchmarks you're using. Alright, so 97.46. Take note of that. And that should be at 4.6. Now, the one thing I need to check. What's up, Slacker?
Yes.
You gotta love when your friends just randomly come over and bust your balls. It's quite enjoyable. But anyway, so we're at 97.46. I just want to double check one more time that CPU Z's working, and then we're gonna go right into the liquid nitrogen stuff. I'm pretty stoked. I think we're gonna hit pretty good, at least 5.5, but rock stable. I think we're gonna do pretty good. We're getting dialed in more and more as we go. Alright, so let's see. Let's run. And let's set. So let's see. Make sure all these cores are doing well. Make sure you can see everything. We're definitely running at 4.6 on all. So it's weird. So it looks like that I'm not going to be able to use that formula drive, which is disappointing because it's much slimmer than XTU is. And it looks like when you set it next to you, I might have to... Ooh, look at that. We might be running hot in general over here. Make sure there's no air bubbles. Oh, there's some air bubbles in there. All right. Me and my whopping 15 subs. Hey, man, you got to start it somewhere. I about crapped myself when they told me I was a special guest. Hey, why not, man? You do something great. You should be proud of what you do. I know I'm proud of what you do. It's a great service you do, man. It's good shit. I like that. Alright, so I think we're just gonna... Oh, yeah, that's what we forgot to do, right? We can just go right to there and go to... We're gonna have to boot up. So I think it's probably... So, if it's true, what I'm thinking is, XTU, when you change it there, it also changed it in the BIOS. So the next time you boot, instead of booting at 4.5, I'm thinking that I'll boot up at 4.6 right now. And that's a good thing to know, because if I was using this and I'd be booting up at 5.6 and trying to figure out what errors I have, could be. So let's see. I like this song. I don't even know if you guys can hear it, but I just love the beat. Nope. So I'm wrong. I must have said 4.6 and I didn't realize it. So it doesn't set in here, which is good. Good to know. So we're going to use XTU. I'm probably going to still set the voltage in the BIOS. That way I don't have to worry about it. Because I find that when you get colder and stuff and you start trying to reset voltages, sometimes it just doesn't like it and it will freeze the system. And then you got to heat it up. And then it's just a pain in the ass. So, but yeah. So let's see. Does the blue screen usually come with heat in the system? I have no idea what that means. Yes, you can always run all 4 channels. Still have no idea what you're talking about. Ready T, what's up, Slacker? How you guys doing over there in France, man? I have like 3 subscribers for some reason. I have no videos. Well, maybe they just like what you're talking about. I like it because you got your BS in the name. All right, so let's go. Let's get I'm pretty happy with that, so let's just get into the liquid nitrogen. Now, we can talk shit for a little bit, because it's going to take a tiny bit to set up. I got to pull all of this apart, but it shouldn't take too long. So what are you slackers doing for your corona-forced vacation? And, well, depending on where you live. Hope everybody in your family's doing well. We don't want to hear any bad things. Stig, you slacker. I hope this is a 12-hour stream. I'm not sure it'll be a 12-hour stream, but probably going to be a decently long stream. I am getting hungry, though. I haven't really eaten much today. It really does suck having, like, big-ass hands. Especially with computers and stuff. It's one of the reasons why I never became a mechanic. Is in blue screen over voltage usually? No, not all the time. Usually with blue screens, it can happen with voltage, could happen in memory settings, could happen with a bunch of different things. Show Big Tech, be right back. No problem, I'll be here. Says, question, do you run liquid or air on your personal rig? Usually I run, I don't know, I've ran phase change on the daily rig before. Usually I run some type of water cool. This stream box right now is on an Intel stock cooler, which needs to change because it runs too hot. So, I don't know, I'm one of the reasons why I keep on, if you follow me, I'm on Twitter a lot. So basically, if you want to follow me, if you look at BeardedHW on Twitter, I've asked a bunch of people for cases and stuff. I have the Gigabyte C621. It's a monster-ass board. But I need to figure out what kind of case to use for it, because that's going to be my personal rig. Come on, a big guy like me's got to have a big rig like that. So we're going to do a badass overclocked. I want to only use the best components, so we got to figure out, like, I don't even know what I'm going to use yet. Because I got to get that thing off my wall. It's too badass of a system not to be being played with. Especially for a stream box, because I can use all those slots. One of the reasons why I don't have more cameras right now is because I'm limited on the Z390 platform. I need one more Elgato. Or actually, I need the slot. I have the Elgato. So I want to try to modify all this to get in that box. But the problem is the motherboard's so damn big that you got to find, like, the monster case to fit it. I think it's probably the biggest motherboard made. It's like server size. It's quite crazy. Alright. I'm so bored and getting so stir crazy. You and me, bro. Both. Repairing laptops at home. Hey, the trick is to either watch me all the time. I got good content. Or just keep yourself busy. I know that's harder to say, easier said than done. I know you can only watch so many movies and stuff like that. I know if you guys are Netflix guys, Ozark Season 3 came out. I love that show. I basically just rewatched, I actually had it on the background all day yesterday, Season 2. Just so I can brush up for Season 3. What's your personal rig? So my personal rig, right, I have lots of rigs. So I have my laptop, I have a Surface Book, the last top model Surface Book, and then I have a Z390 Dark with a 9900K running right now. But my new personal rig is going to be the 28-core Xeon maxed the hell out. We're going to put some major memory in there. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. But, yeah. That's how I pass the time. Watching some Viking bench and next to what I have work in the press shop. Sounds fun. CROSSHAIR 1000D. That sucker is the one of the few that fit the board. It's the biggest problem with that board. That's why I put it out on Twitter. Find me a case that's badass as hell and that fits that motherboard. Not so easy. So I've been narrowing it down. I don't know if I'm totally complete on it, but I'm never complete on, like, you know, we're going to have to mod this shit out of it either way. It's going to have to do a custom paint job, maybe some custom airbrushing. A buddy of mine does some really, he's getting into the airbrushing stuff, so I think we're going to have to showcase some of his talents. See, who doesn't love airbrushing and shit, man? If you make some nice, cool effects on stuff, maybe we'll put just like a big, giant beard all over it. I don't know. Trying to come up with ideas still, so we're in the idea phase right now. Alright. Not too bad of a mount. Using Thermal Grizzly on there for now. Let me move this out of the way so I don't knock stuff over and kill shit. Right. There we go. All right. Let's see. More Red Bull. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm going to get another Red Bull because I'm still dragging today. Ooh, the View 91. I think I actually like the View. That's one of the top ones that I'm thinking that I'm going to get. Build a case for it. Yes, yes, yes. Since when do you new normal cases? I know, that's the thing. Like, all right, I'll be right back. I need another Red Bull, and we're going to get started. Ugh. All right. I just buy a reasonably priced case. Usually I don't use cases. This is usually how my setups are. So, all right, we got another Red Bull. What do we need to do? I need to clean. So we need to whip out the paper towels. It's funny, everybody was panicking buying paper towels, alcohol, a bunch of different stuff, and I already got that shit. And actually, these were donated from one of you slackers. I got a whole case of this stuff. Wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for you guys. So let's clean this puppy up, get it ready, put that giant pot on. We're gonna go, I think, with the pot we used last time. I don't think we really had a good chance to really test it out, so I think this is gonna be the time. So we already got tape on there. You can't, it's hard to see. Let's move over here. Let me get you a better view. There we go. Oh, yeah. Let's see. So we're gonna use this big monster block, and this thing's pretty badass. I can't wait to really like use it more and more. It's literally, let's see if you can see it. It's so hard to see, but there's basically holes drilled in all through here, all the way throughout, right? And what they did is they basically heated it up and put plugs in it back in, so that way it doesn't leak out the side. So it was actually done way like probably back in like 2008 or something like that. So a buddy of mine, Travis, V2, V3, very, I guess he's old. I wouldn't say he's old. He's younger than me, but an older overclocker. He used to overclock a way long time ago. But yeah, so I'm excited to use it. Oh, I'm not excited to break my glass though. All right, so we need paste. I think we'll go with Thermal Grizzly again. I gotta find if I have any KP. I think I have some over there. We might have to do that. I don't know. Maybe on the next session. All right, I think this one's probably gonna kill the rest of what's in this tube. Let's see. I hate sharing between tubes. All right. Seems like we do have enough. I don't know if you guys hear me. If you're gonna use paste, make sure you stick it back in the package and seal it up. Paste has a problem where it likes to dry out, so that's one way to keep it from drying out. So let's get rid of this. Oh, make sure we clean this. And I didn't really spray it, but it should be fine. We'll go rough this time. Paper towels. All right. So what's up, slackers? How you guys doing? Are you guys bored? I know I've been going like stir crazy. I'm not sure what to do with myself most of the time. But luckily I've been working like crazy. That passes the time pretty easily. But I do need some slack time because I feel like I've been working like 2 months straight. Kind of kicks my ass. But it's better than not working. I know some people have it tough out there. So I don't want to act like I'm spoiled or anything, but... Got that. Let's get another paper towel. When the paste freeze. You're doing pot. You need an overhead cam. I know, that's why I need to switch out to the new box, because I don't have enough room on the system right now to be able to intake another camera, which sucks. But yeah, I need an overhead. We'll do that when I get the next box up. But you guys gotta find me a case that fits the Gigabyte board. I think I almost already decided on that Thermaltake one. I'm sure Thermaltake will love that anyway. They're a very good sponsor of mine. Obviously, you can see by the red case. And a bunch of tubing and all sorts of good stuff we get from Thermaltake. The studio is going to be changing too. Thermaltake actually sent me one of their gaming tables. The big monstrosity of electric table. Go up and down, just hit the button. These tables are like that too, but you gotta like hand crank it. So, just make myself lazy, you know. But it does give me another table, so that way I can like, makes it easier for me to take video, because then I don't have to clean off this table, put something there. I'll be able to have this over here, and then I'll have another table that's blank, so that way I can do videos in between without messing up the normal stuff. So, all right, I think we're ready. Get in there. What is this song, though? I need to change this. We'll go to my favorite, like, almost Viking-ish metal. It almost feels like you're on Game of Thrones or some shit. It's pretty funny. Where's the other piece? Oh, there's a bracket. It's hard to see the bracket with a black table. Let's go. You want to have it tight. You don't want to go too crazy tight, but just buy other ones. You gotta love this song. I think I play it every stream, so. It says, what's that? Cheap action cam. They're pretty good. Yeah, no, I have a couple. Trust me, I have a lot of cameras. I have quite lots of cameras, but the problem is getting that signal to the computer. Right now, I don't have enough PCIe slots for my other cards to put in. So, when I switch over to my big system, it has 7 slots, so I can pretty much do up to like 6 or 7 cameras. So, and to be honest, that's kind of the plan. I want to have like a shit ton of cameras so I can show you pretty much everything that's going on. I mean, how cool would that be, right? Let's see. I sent you the build I already did in the dude. Oh, yeah, the VIII 91. Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. I think I might probably just do the VIII 91 for now. Big case with totally overkill water cooling would make a great case for... Yep. The C621. It's such a monster setup. It's like crazy. All right, that seems pretty good. All right, let's fold this back in. Now we want to have it around so that way it catches any water, because you're going to have a lot of condensation here. And you want to make sure none of that condensation pulls up and messes up everything. So we'll put it around nicely like that. I'm going to keep these ones on memory. That way it nothing falls on it. A lot of the times you'll have the vapor that comes up, so you want to kind of be careful for that. Flip this over. And then what I usually do is I'll take 2 paper towels and wrap it around. This time I actually put new batteries in the meter too, so we didn't have issues. That was another problem we had last time. That's the worst issue to have. When the meter starts messing up and you don't know how cold you are, Sucks. It's happened to me many times over the years. You just got to keep up on the batteries, but it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. There we go. Make it all nice and pretty. Right. I don't really have any fan holders, so should be fine though. A lot of times you'll see people put fans on there, and what they'll do is it will blow the vapors out, but we should be fine. I'm going to use the heater. If you guys haven't seen what a heater is, basically, normally we just have a mount on the back of this, right? Basically sandwiches the pot to the board. Well, Vince at kingpincooling.com. Also, if you want to go to Europe, there's a bunch of different ones. I don't know if what's his name's on here now, but if you go through the chat list, if you want to find this stuff in Europe, you can. But this is a heater backplate. So what happens is you have a nice thermopad, goes on and sandwich with the board, and you plug it in through PCIe, right? And you basically heat the board so it doesn't create too much condensation. Sometimes it can have an adverse effect, though. So you got to be kind of careful. I usually only turn it on around minus 50. Because I feel like you also get the chance of maybe putting water in the socket, and you really don't want water in the socket. It causes all sorts of weird issues. But yeah, I keep on hearing about my lovely GPU here. This is the Galax Fish. It's kind of infamous in the OC world. If you've ever seen a lot of people that break records with 32M and stuff, this is the GPU that they use, because really, I think it's just a 710. It's nothing special. It's really a 2D card. It's just a heater that has passive cooling. So, but yeah, it's made by a company named Galax. Their fish design is kind of what they're known for. So they also do graphic cards and stuff like that. But yes, all right. Just pretend. Would I break something? Sometimes I figure I always break something. Let's see. We don't want to see everything that is going on, Justicles. Did you, Joe, go on a McDonald's trip? What are you talking about here? Whoa, bro, a sugar-free Red Bull is gross. No, I can't, dude, I can't drink the regular one. It's kind of shitty. Well, let's see, Fantex Elite. I know, that case looks pretty cool, Manny. Now for the gaffer tape. How often do KP probes go to shit? To be honest, it's not the probe's fault. It's this fault. Now, to be honest, the KP probes are probably the best probes. Like, this probe is probably almost like 10 years old. So, those probes are like the shit. Not shit, but the shit. The Fantex Entho Elite. I don't know. I'll have to check that one out after the stream. Hit me up on Twitter and remind me of it. Just post me and tag me in the case. Just take a picture, send it to me. Oh, because that way I don't have to look it all up, because I literally have hundreds of recommendations, but it's nice to just see, you know? But yes, alright. So we're at 25 degrees, which is good. I also have a meter over here so we can actually see how much power it's pulling, because Intel's high performance desktop uses a shit ton of power. I mean, it's a lot. So let's see, we're on 0.5 watts. What I got here? Hair drives me nuts. I should just cut it all off. Shave my damn head. All right. Oh, fish for the win. You're my OC role model. I don't know if I should be your role model there, buddy. All right. Red Bull is just gross. Grab your mate. Yerba? What the hell is yerba? All right, slackers. We're at 171 likes. Come on, man. Let's bump that shit up. And make sure you subscribe so that way we can get into this down and dirty shit all the time. So, alright, I think we're almost ready for LN2. Let's boot it up. Make sure it actually boots up. Check temps. Ooh, the music's kind of getting me pumped. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but... Gotta roll, boss. Glad to catch a good Slacker stream. Enjoy the day. Later, Slacker! Showback Tech. If you haven't followed him on Twitter and pretty much everywhere. The guy is pretty awesome. He builds computers and teaches veterans how to build their own computers. He does some really cool shit. He'll be at LTX this year. Definitely a good dude, so make sure you help support. I know he's giving away or has raffles for machines, so you gotta check him out. Definitely good shit. Alright, so my 5700 XT is a beast and never has problems. To be honest, I have a 5700 XT and I haven't even used it yet. So I need to think of something good ideas for benching that too. Alright, so yerba is like a Jewish drink, I think. Okay. Alright, so did you figure out the problem with the problems last time? So last time I was confusing memory volts. So we'll go over real quick as I'm kind of testing out the heat. Basically in DRAM, voltages, I was not using system agent voltage here. So I just bumped this up to 0.3 and some of my issues pretty much went away. I was also setting, I have this issue where I usually go in and I'll set everything, and sometimes you don't want to do that because you'll find random bugs, and I'm usually the dude that finds the most randomest of the randomest bugs. And they drive me nuts sometimes. So that's basically what I was running into. But yeah, so we're dialed in. We're running 12, 11, 11, 28. Probably could bump that down a little bit. But we're going to go right for LN2 right now. We're pretty much dialed in. We've kind of figured out all our issues. Now our issue is we need to get some liquid nitrogen. So let's pour some juice. All right. No worries, it's only like 60 pounds. Alright, I'm finally starting to wake up here. I think we might have to put the Viking cap on. Remember, I'm a trained professional. I'm barefoot because if you wear socks, it's really dangerous. Because the socks will actually soak. And you don't want soak with liquid nitrogen. Alright, that should be good for now. Woo! It's cold! Minus 196 degrees cold. Alright, so what else do I need? I need to make sure my torch too. Oh shit. Got a torch. Got like one hair pissing me off. Alright. So we got the torch, we got everything to go. See what the temperatures are. It says 52, we're at 40. That's package temp. Let's see, we got up here. Let's get you guys on a better view. Start pouring the juice. Alright, yeah, so we're at 52 and it's about 40 on it, but you can see the temperature is moving, so that's a good sign. Alright. Now we're gonna change up the volts a little bit. I'm gonna just save this. Obviously, we're gonna have different volts when we're under liquid nitrogen. So, I'm gonna keep it. I'll keep it at this right now, and what we'll do is we'll just go cold. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down to about minus 50 degrees Celsius, and make sure we plug in the hard drive because usually I forget. I just do that so that way I don't have to hit delete and smash delete all the time because it annoys the shit out of me. All right, so we're at 30 degrees. We're getting colder. Make sure it's also doing it in the OS. New cards are so locked down. That's one of the biggest problems with cards nowadays is all the lockdowns. I don't know if you guys follow me. I don't really do too much Facebook anymore, but I put up a card that I did 5 years ago. When the Titan X came out, the first Titan X, basically I modded it. I ripped it apart, Put on a whole new power delivery system, the gigabyte version, and broke every record that they had for a Titan X. It was pretty cool. But that was 5 years ago. It's kind of crazy that time flies when you're having fun, if you know what I'm saying. Let's see. If you guys want to know how much wattage we're running at, 4 or 5, about 142 watts right now. Right, we're getting colder. All right, I'm going to end up booting the system, because we can go in the OS now. Oh, that's right. All right, I mean, I know how to flash BIOS on any card. You know, that's not too difficult. Has he really, or has he just played with unlocked VBIOSes? I don't even know what that means. Why he's done it on multiple cards. I guess I'm missing it. I'm seeing it, and it's kind of cool looking. He has modded older AMD BIOS, blah, 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 blah. You guys are killing me over there. Whoa, sometimes it gets funky. Let's try to reboot that again. Let's see, the whole... Getting cold. We're getting cold. Need to get down to minus 50, and I'll turn the heater on. Now, the only thing I gotta do to turn the heater on is basically use the PCIe. Plug it in. I gotta get the other one, though. Where is it? There it is. So at minus 50, I'll plug this in. And what this is trying to do is to basically try to get around... I don't want to try to have any water buildup. I feel like if I plug the heater in and then pull down on cold, sometimes it generates water and puts water in the socket. So that's why we want to do it at minus 50 first. Getting there. Music, digging the music. What's up, JD's Tech? Good evening, my brother. Come on, slackers. We're almost at 200 likes. Get on it. Whoa. Blood starting to go. I love that sound when liquid nitrogen's absorbed. Sounds so cool. Actually, we don't need to be too much in there yet. What are we at? Minus 35. Get down to minus 50. We might have to torch the pot a little bit too. So we'll try that at minus 50. But you have to make sure there's no liquid nitrogen in there. What it does is when you heat the pot up, it helps with the metal soaking in the liquid nitrogen. Alright, we're going to plug the heater in. Now it's minus 50. Plugged in, so now that should be heating up. Now the next thing we want to do is torch the pot, and this is going to help with the soak. Probably do up to about minus 40. You just get a nice glaze over the pot. And what this will do is it will help for reaction. So it won't take as long to get the liquid nitrogen to soak in to combat whatever heat you have, like the heat load you're trying to handle. So let's get it cold again. See, now it should get to minus 50 much quicker now. The initial takes a little bit, so. And now, if you don't like it where you want it, like, it's still too slow, what you can do is keep torching it, but I have a feeling we're going to end up probably torching a couple times, so. Right, we're going to reboot, and I'm going to start changing the settings now. So you don't want to be too high on voltage, obviously on water, you know. I find these chips will thermal throttle pretty easily if you just jack up the volts and jack up the clocks, and they'll fail because you need to have your temps on point, and that's how you kill stuff. But you need to pay more attention to your techniques software-wise. I'm terrible at dialing in settings. Usually what I do for software-wise is I come up with baselines. I'll change stuff quite a bit. Alright, 2.25 on input. We're going to keep all the other ones. I think what we want to do is we want to do about one... I'm going to do 1.4 seems... I think 1.4 will sound good. We'll keep this at about... I'm trying to remember what I put at. We'll do 1.3 for now. And we'll keep SA the same. And I'm going to save this as LN2. basically the same profile, but it just has the LN2 voltages. That way we can just switch back and forth from them. So I'm just gonna jump up the CPU clock a little bit, so that way I know which one I'm on. If I'm at like 48 when I go in the BIOS, I know that I'm in there, and I didn't do the other the other profile that I want to do. So, all right, so we're booting up at 4.8 with high volts now. So we want to be careful. We want to get it cold. We tended to get a little bit hot there, but it should be fine at the voltages we have set, so it shouldn't hurt anything. Oh, Joe, if you update to Benchmade 11, you will have some new tools to mess with. Keep hating. Yeah, I know. I need to upgrade. That's the one thing I was trying to remember what to do. I was up real late last night trying to figure out all these issues. That way we could bench today, and I was up till like 4 a.m. And that was one of the things I wanted to do, but I couldn't remember because at 4 a.m. I was working from like 8 to 12 a.m. and then I don't know. It was just basically a blur, so I forgot to do it. So bear with me. I'm still crashing pretty hard now. It's only taken like 3 Red Bulls. All right, so we hit over 205 likes. Nice, slackers. All right, so it looks like we're at 4.8. Let's just jump it up to 5 gig. We'll go for it already. All right, so we're at 5 gig. Close XTU. And what we'll do is we'll jump this up. What are we at temp-wise? 63. Or go see, when these chips start getting hot, man, you can go through LN2 like really quickly. That's why 3D, when you start doing like a GPU and CPU, man, it can get really gnarly really quick. Alright, so let's make sure CPU Z is right. We're at about minus 70 degrees. That should be plenty for 5 gig. Move this out of the way. So we're at 5 gig. We'll keep that up. We're just going to do a quick test. Put this over on the side. Now, let's see. So one of the issues we saw before, get some juice, do a nice spray, and we're going to do a quick run. And I want to make sure that we're not throttling. Yeah, good. We're sharing. I was talking with Dan Kopp. It's another legendary overclocker, and we noticed a couple things. He has a 9980, and he found out that if he sets a certain voltage, it starts downclocking a couple of the cores. Kind of like the issue that I had when I was setting them. So it's pretty interesting. But it looks like we're pretty good. So let's go do a score that's probably better. You don't want to have too many things opened up when you're running this. There is a balance of what things you should have run. We'll do that for now. So we're at, what, 4836? And this is just 5 gig. You know what you need to do, though? I want to check one thing. Maybe I can do cache through this program. I know I can't do voltage. I know I can't do CPU clock. So let's see if we can do... Alright, let's see. 35 cache. We need a bunch of... Basically get that mesh up. When we get that mesh up, it's kind of like Infinity Fabric. It will give you a nice little boost. So you see memory, now we're at 3.5 cache. Just want to see if it does the same thing. If I change that setting, I just want to make sure it's not changing. Make sure I get all the cores. So far it looks good. It's staying at 5 gig. And we gained nice 30 points by it. So that's looking pretty good. How cold are we getting there? Minus 80. So we're getting quite cold right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump that up a little bit more. The whole point of the 10980XE basically has a better mesh. So if we can get some higher mesh, that could help us with records and stuff. So let's see what it can do as far as mesh. So we should be at 3600 now. Let's just make sure it's not messing stuff up again. Remember, we were having that issue with that utility, so we want to just keep an eye out on it. You want to try to get all this stuff done, basically, in when you're benching. You want to make sure that you know what's going on everywhere, because otherwise you'll start going down the rabbit hole trying to troubleshoot stuff. So you want to pay attention. So that was a nice boost right there. So let's go back into memory again, jump it up. So it looks like we can change the cache, which is good. So far we know 3600 is rock stable. What I'm going to do is going to figure out the cache, and then what we'll do is we'll start up on core and see how high we can go. Because it looks like we're doing really well cold-wise. Look, 3700 looks good. Try to get this over. Probably should close this. Sometimes you'll notice that when you start overclocking stuff a little bit, that you'll get lower scores sometimes when you're overclocking higher, right? Ooh, look at that. 49.55. Sweet. Try to see if we can do another run. R15 and R20 are weird. When you're running them, they're always very similar. Like, and you have to run it and then maybe run it again and run it again. Was that higher? Nope, lower. Let's see, can you guys all see that? Good. Everything's listed there. Oh, let's see. Thank you for the info. Do you ever run Cinebench in real time in Task Manager? Yeah, you can run it real time. Sometimes I see it lower, sometimes I see it higher. Usually what I do is when I figured out stuff, I keep it at normal. And then what I'll do is I'll once I start finding the top clocks, I'll start digging into real time, and then even not just real time, you have high too. Sometimes works better, but it depends on how high your chip can clock. Because if you're doing real time, that you might not be, I don't know, you might have some issues first. So, but anyways, we're gonna run this a couple more times, and then we're gonna start getting it really cold. So far, it looks like cache is pretty stable at 37. Let's see if we can get close to. Let's see if we can get higher, because if we can get higher, that might actually help us with all scores, and you never know. We need all the help we can get. So let's see. Alright, so we're at 38 now. 3700 worked well. Now 3700, you're not going to basically see that when it comes down to, like, if your chip on water. So we're at 3800 now, which is nice. What are we at temp-wise? Minus 70. I'll give it a nice spray, and let's run it. 854 watts. So we just hit 854 watts on that. That's crazy compared to the AMD stuff. So far, not high on the score, though. What are we at? Minus 70 still? Yeah, see, we're not seeing too much of a score, so I feel like the scaling's going down, so I don't know if we should push higher than this. To be honest, 3700 seemed like the sweet spot. But I'm going to try to run it one more time. Maybe we can get that nice, good run in there. Let's see. Where are we at? 860 watts. Yeah, see, it seemed like we were doing a little bit better. So let's just jump it down. Back to 3700 instead of 38. And what we'll do is we'll start raising the clocks on the CPU and see what we can do. Now we have 1.4 volts set. The reason why I have it set right now is because it tends to have issues in the software. So when I set it, say we're at minus 80 and I set that voltage, sometimes it doesn't, basically will just freeze the system and it causes a bunch of cold issues. And we don't want to have any cold issues right now. What RAM are you using? So these are G.Skill Trident Royals. These are like a 4800 bin. I said 4K bin before. They're actually a 4800 bin. If you look at my DDR4, how do you remove heat spreaders? It's the same modules. So, all right. So we're minus 80. All right. Now we got to open up XTU. So the problem is with Formula Drive, we can't use that utility because it ends up messing up on the extra cores. So when we set like 5 gig on the cores, or 52 on the cores, it will be at 5.1 or 5 gig on the two last cores. So if we're going to do scores, that's obviously not going to be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to use XTU to do the clocks. This seems to work very well. Problem is it's kind of a pain in the ass to keep using. So let's make sure this, sometimes this takes a little bit to change. Oh, see, it actually just changed. So now it's going from 5 gig to 5.1, so we're going to run 5.1. Let's get a little bit more temp. Go down to about minus 80. I'm really curious to see how this pot works. This is the first time that I've been able to really push this pot pretty hard. About 800 watts. We're at 4918. Let's run it again. 750 watts. 855. Seems like we're going a lot down in score. Come on, baby. Man, 860 watts. What's crazy is that Threadripper didn't even pull that much of this. I feel like there's something wrong though. Let's go, it seems like we're scoring lower than we did before, so I need to check the cores real quick. So let's run this. Yeah, that's very strange. So it's acting like it's at 5 gig. So something's not set right. That's strange. If you guys saw it, basically it was running at 5 gigs still, even though we were at... It could be a bug in CPU-Z, but... Let's check XTU. XTU is a pretty good way to test your settings. So you'll see right here, let's make sure we're cool. At 75, we're good. So if you look in here, when we run this, you'll see that, like, you can see the package temperature, the CPU's utilization, the max frequency. You can also tell there's a couple of settings there, like, let me make sure you can see it. Yeah, you'll see that there's like max core frequency. Let's see, we got max core frequency, thermal throttling, and power limit throttling. So basically it's not doing any of those, it's basically going around at the frequency, so CPU-Z must be off. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to jump right to 5.2. We'll get ballsy, right? Make sure we set it to 5.2. Make sure, okay, so 5.17, that's basically 5.2. Now let's make sure we're cold again. See what it does. Alright, so it says 5.2 frequency, there's no thermal throttle, no power throttle. We probably got to be at 900 watts too. Oh, it's already done. 5K. Okay, so now that's a much better score. Be careful about temp though. I don't know what the bad temps are yet. Or the cold bug temps. Because we were having so many issues with memory, we couldn't really figure it out then. But I was able to figure them out, and now we're doing pretty well here. So, we're at 5.2, and we're getting about 5,000. Can one of you guys check to see if that one's pretty good? Let's see, what are we at? Almost minus 90. Whoa, 5,056. Pretty sweet. Alright, let's see. We'll do one more run and then we'll jump up to 5.3. Seems like we're doing pretty good for stability. The pot's handling the load perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump it up again. I want to see what, like, we're at 1.4 volts. Let's see how far we can push this particular one. So we have 5.4, or okay, 5.3. Says 5.3 and so far so good. What are we at temp-wise? About minus 90. Run that. This pot is working really well. Usually we have a bigger drop depending on load, and I'm literally just killing it. 5,100, nice. For 5.3, that should be pretty good. Let me check. Let's check real quick. So if we go... So what are we supposed to be at? So if we look here, so we scored 5,105. Now if we look, we're pretty much in this point around 5.1. So that's kind of shitty, but remember, we're also using XTU. We have XTU up right now, so that's hogging resources like crazy. So I'm trying to see like what our efficiency is, where we should be at. So around 52 to 53, we should be between 5,200 and 5,300. So we're running a little slow. But I think that also has to do because we have those security patches installed. That's one of the things about the 10980 that I'm not too happy with. Alright, so let's jump back and push it even further. Oh, the black bar is just because the the resolution. For some reason it messed up today, and I'm not sure why, so... But I'd rather bench than try to mess with that shit. Alright, so let's go up to 5.4. About minus 90. Minus 90. Oh, 900 watts. Woo! Nice. 5,200. So we're getting better. All right. So 54 was no problem. We're gonna jump up to 55. Doing better already. Now remember, the score is going to be definitely a little bit lower, not just for because it's a 10980, and that security patches are you can't turn them off like the other chips, so you're going to be a little bit negative on that one. So 5.5 runs no problem, but we also have XTU. XTU is going to hog resources, but I'm just doing it for information purposes. So we're at minus 95. Let's go up to 5.6. So already we're pretty much past what we did before. It's a hell of a difference when you have a stable system, you've worked out all your issues, and dialing in. This is why we test on air and water all the time, right? So you just want to make sure you do that. All right, so we'll do 5.6. What temps we at? Minus 90. Oh, failed. Ooh, that might be bad because it might cause me some cold issues. Let's see. Let's see how cold we can get. So it seems like minus 98 is no problem. Right. So let's try again. So what? We're at almost minus 100. We'll go a little bit colder. Since we are running 2D, we might be able to push like 115. Not liking it. Oh, I'm scared to check volts in here. I think we might just reboot. Oh. So it looks like we're limited on 5.5 right now. 5.6 seems to be volt limited. And before I get any colder, so it seems like we have more way to get cold. I think what we're gonna have to do is basically set the voltage higher. I figure maybe 1.45 is probably the max to get. When you set the voltage in the OS, a lot of the times when it's so cold, it freezes. So we don't want that freeze to occur because we can have some issues. A lot of the times it causes issues with the paste itself. So we're going to go from 1.4 to 1.45. I'm going to change the load line to level 1. I haven't noticed a difference, but we'll try it anyway. I'm hoping this doesn't 0-0 on me. A lot of the times, depending on what you change, like if you change a mem divider at this time, basically it will freeze and you'll basically have to heat up and all that. It all depends on what you change. Sometimes when you change multi too, it basically requires a cold boot, which when a cold boot happens, you're messing up the paste and you're causing all issues. You don't want to do that stuff. I don't know about OCing the non-K metals, but I'm not sure there's more voltage is going to be the key there. All right. Oh, we need some more juice first. I usually do this the other hand, so it's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. Don't want to lose all the yelling too. All right, we got more juice. Let's see. Hopefully it's a rather decent chip. 5.6 is not bad, but obviously I'd like to be better. All right, so anything else we want to change? I don't think so. Let's see, minus 70. We'll keep it that until we get in. Oh yeah! It's fun playing what you can do and get upgrade. What are you guys doing? Sounds like the human malware, Joe. It's always the human malware. Speaking of a human malware, where's Steve? Oh, we probably could have raised them. Damn it. I have to go in here and raise the mesh first. So we'll go with 37. It's kind of annoying having to use so many tools to get us going. There's XTU. Still minus 70. Alright, we're gonna do more of a performance run. What's going on, slackers? Super chat, Stig, what's up, slacker? You don't need toilet paper? You do it in the shower. Awkward. What's up, slackers? If you're new here, like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, BeardedHW, Stepanzi1 on Instagram. Yeah. And if you like to hang out, want to get more hanging out with the slacker, you can always join Patreon. Patreon is where it's at. We actually have a giveaway going on in Patreon right now for a nice 1070 gigabyte. Woo! So if you're on there by the end of the day, we're going to do this tomorrow. So I'll be doing it and giving it away on Patreon. But you have to join Patreon, and we have a Discord. When you pay for Patreon, it basically goes over to the Discord. So by going over there, you get chances to win. We'll have raffles, we'll have a bunch of stuff going on. So just so you know. And then if you want to buy shirts, sweatshirts, go to beardedhardware.com. If you want them autographed, just let me know, put it in the notes, and I'll send you an autograph too. Alright, so what are we going to do here? I think we're at 5.6. Let's just make sure CPU-Z is on point right now. Even though CPU-Z seems to suck right now. Gotta get cold. Alright, we're definitely at 5.6. 3.7 on all good. So let's open up R15. Minimize this, put it over in the corner. Alright, so what we got here? It's funny, we're running about almost 300 watts just at idle right now at 5.6. That's crazy. Idling at 300 watts. Oh, it went down to 200, but it seems like it's fluctuating a little bit. You gotta remember, mesh is extremely high right now. Alright, so minus 70, we're getting there. We're gonna go to pretty much around minus 100. Hopefully I don't hit any cold bug. I haven't really got the chance to test out complete cold bug on this chip, so we're gonna find out. Minus 85. Alright, so minus 89. We're getting there. Pot's really slow, but it's also really good because it handles, it's slow on load too. And that's the main point. Alright, so we're around minus 100. We're running 5.6. Oh, there's that load. Ooh, I didn't like that. That was interesting. It almost like OCP'd. But usually when it OCPs, it hits overcurrent protection. All right. Sorry about that. I had to take care of someone that being a pain in the ass. Let's see, minus 90. Let's make sure 5.5 is running before we go 5.6. It could be 5.5 is all this chip's gonna do. I really need to play with the 9980 XC I had. They score higher because you can turn off the security patches. And really what we're trying to do is find it out for... Here, let's do 5. Oops, hit the wrong one. Do 5.5. So technically a 9980 might be faster than the 10980 because you can turn off the patches. But my 9980 also had a major cold issues, but I think I can mitigate that by using the second slot. I had it in the first slot when I was initially testing, which is not good. You can get more cold if you're doing it this way. So anyway, I think I have to do the cache real quick. So let's do cache 37. So we're at 55. I'll wait till that freezes again. Get down to 100 again. All right. Get back in here and run again. All right. All right, so we're gonna try 55 because it was not working. So we're gonna get up to about minus 100 again. All right, let's run. Pulling some major wattage. Yeah, instant shutdown. All right, so I think I know what the issue is. You promised to do an overclocking stream. When is it? A RAM. Well, once we start getting into the 3950X, that's when I'm going to do an overclocking RAM stream. So, this is the X299 OC formula. So I think, so you notice how it just turned off right when I'm running? A lot of the times that's hitting, basically tripping your input. 9 times out of 10, basically that means our input is not, you got to figure if you're pushing all the voltages and that one input is not enough, you're going to stress the input. So by raising the input voltage, you should get a better response. So let's see. So we're going to go up to about 2.3, see if that will run. Probably going to change this down to level 2. It seems level 1 might be also causing the issue, so we're going to do that too. And we're going to keep the same amount of volts. Hopefully we don't get screwed on a cold boot or a hard boot. Nope, we don't have the hard boot, so we can go right into the operating system. Oh, damn. I don't know if I made it. It'd probably go right into BIOS. That LLC. Drop your input voltage a bit. No, dropping the input voltage is not the way to do it, dude. You promised to do a RAM. Yeah, I already answered that. ASRock. Chipset is X299. Gotta reboot. This is the typical issues that you see on the X299 platform. What happens is the input just can't handle it. You see it a lot in TimeSpy Extreme, and you have to get the input voltage up to like 2.6. It's crazy. Probably should raise my mesh because it's driving me nuts. Yeah, I think the big issue is why that's happening is because we raised the voltage from 1.4 to 1.45. And that means basically it can't handle the input, so you need to raise the input a little bit. So let's this should now run. Let's see, minus 92, trying to manage the temp. Still doing it. We're gonna go up a little bit higher. Yeah. Can you raise the mesh at those temps? Power supply. This is a Corsair AX1600. It's actually a beta power supply that I got from Johnny Guru himself. That's the only thing that will increase your memory speed. You should buy a 1600 kit. At least some people have used monobios. What's up, on Martuck? What's up, Joe? I'm late, I know. What had been happening here? So we're benching at about 5.5, 5.6. But we had some issues because I raised voltage. So it looks like we have to compensate by raising the input. I haven't found the exact setting yet. If that doesn't work, we'll try lowering the input. Oh, these are the times when you gotta try to figure out stuff. But we're doing way better than we did last time. We have memory that's pretty damn stable. Rock hard at CL1211, 3733. Dialed in very, very tight. Really tight RTL. Problem is we're shutting off whenever we run, and usually that has a lot to do with the input voltage. It depends. If it shuts off and it doesn't come back on, that's usually a power supply OCP. If it's not that, it just shuts off and it reboots. It's usually the CPU, basically OCP in a way. I noticed the same issue with TimeSpy Extreme. When you push AVX so high, it gets absolutely ridiculous. Oh, that's right, Aiden. I have certain issues. I can't set CPU multis inside this program, but I can set the cache. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But I have to use XTU for the other one. So I have to do a particular order. Very annoying. Now we gotta go to XTU. Set 5.5. And then we can run the bench. So we keep on raising input voltage. Let's get back to cold. One thing you gotta watch out when you torch too much, though, is that you don't get too much in the pot, because it creates like a water barrier, and after a while, that water barrier grows and grows and grows, and it starts interfering with. Hold on. Damn, 900 watts. Yep, same thing. Oh, sorry, late to the party. ASRock BIOS has LN mode. No, it doesn't matter. I don't ever use it. No problem, buddy. Glad to help. Thank you. Opinion helps me in future builds. Nice timings I'm in. I love messing with new tech, finding the limits. I just don't have an LN2 setup. Well, get with your LN2 setup, broski. I think the other thing I'm going to try to do is lower the voltage a little bit so that it helps to not trip so much, because that's a lot of current going through the system. So let's go back. Let's go 4.425. Because remember, we already ran 5.5. 5.5 is not an issue. But when we raise the voltage, it's kind of like what happened with my TR platform, the Threadripper. When the motherboard basically, once you hit a certain amount of current, the whole board would just shut off. But that was the motherboard OCP. This is actually in the chip itself. Could also be that I'm using 1.3 mesh too. Alright, so minus 90, let's go. So what are you guys doing, slackers? Oh. Finally waking up. It only took like 6 hours. Oh, that's not good. That means memory's probably getting too cold now. That's the problem when you have reboots. Technically, usually when you're benching, you don't want to have a reboot. A lot of the times you'll get your best bench. Once you figure out, like say I know this chip does 5.8. What I'll normally do is basically set all the voltages that I know do 5.8, set 5.8. As soon as it gets cold to the temperatures that I want, run that bench. As soon as I reboot, I'll end up break down and stop running the setup completely. So I do it a little bit different on streams than I do like personal wise. So I wonder if it will boot with 37 mesh. Alright, so let's do 37. That way I wouldn't have to set this all the time. Because remember, when you raise mesh 2, the OCP calculation grows. What capture card do you use? I use the Elgato's 4K60. Slacker, it happens since you used LLC 1. Well, I'm on LLC 2 there, buddy. I changed it back to LLC 2 just to make sure that it wasn't the issue. But it has nothing to do with it has to do with that voltage. I've seen it before when I've ran TimeSpy Extreme because high AVX runs a shit ton of power. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what it's doing. Which means it's going to require some more sessions, of course, but that's what we're here for. Right, open it up. Because we're really pushing about 900 watts right now, and we're not even up to like some of where the records are. Oh, clicked again. We might have some water issues too. I'm gonna try lowering the input a little bit. Any particular pot you recommend? I would look at the Kingpin Cooling Venom if you can find one. That's a good cheap alternative pot. Pretty much any copper metal pot would be fine. Well, the only ones that are really bad, what was it? There's some really bad ones out there that you don't want to get. I know EK made one. It's okay for older systems, but not for something like this. It really depends on what you want to bench. Let's see. I'm just gonna go right to 2.5 just because I'm gonna test stuff. See what it does. Farmer won't send Joe a pot. Yeah, DeBauer has some nice stuff. Why are you moving the Cinebench? The reason why I moved the Cinebench is actually it will score higher. Even if you have like real time, I've seen it actually score higher on that than in real time. So it's kind of one of those little tricks. You need to bust Roman's balls to basically do stuff. He should be sending me pots. Lots of pots. Alright, so we got that. Then we gotta wait for XTU. What's up, William? What's going on, slacker? Even Steve's copper cup works somehow. Yeah, it doesn't work that good, but to be honest, there's not enough mass. You need more mass on them for them to work properly. Alright, so we're gonna go back to 5.5. Alright. What are we on temps? We're starting to lose this system. I know there's a lot of moisture in the air here. How cold are we? About minus 80. Let's get about minus 90. Check out R15. Let's see where we're at 5.5. We can get it to run. Here, let's do this before. I won't keep it on the screen. What is that? We're going to go down to... Try to get it a little bit colder. What is the difference between input voltage and VCore? So when you set mesh voltage and VCore, that's literally inside the CPU. There's one big voltage that controls all of those voltages, and that's the input. So when you raise VCore and you raise VMesh, it's going to drain voltage on the input. So you need to compensate basically for the input. The problem is you'll run into issues if you don't have enough input where it reboots. That's pretty much what we're having now. It could also be the power supply too. So, I don't know. Alright, so that's actually a different error message. Usually this has a lot to do with memory, which is not good. That means memory could be wet right now. And yes, crap, is this live? Yes, this crap is live. Haha. Alright, let's try that again. So at least we're not getting shutoffs now, so it looks like we got a good temp-wise. But we're getting a little bit of a hang, so let's see. It's failing a little bit. So let's try to get it a little bit colder. So let's go maybe like minus 110. Problem is we might be getting close to a cold bug. And when you cold bug, you basically, the system freezes and you gotta heat it, basically heat it back to normal to get it to work. So I'm just testing right now, like how cold we can get. So we're at minus 110. Uh-oh. Oh, no, we're good. All right, let's do another run. You thought this was old? No, it's new. When am I going to do a video of mine? When I actually finish my bike, I'll actually do a video on it. Actually, I'll probably do a video this week. If I'm just, work has been killing me lately. I wasn't expecting to work so much. So it's been hard to put the content out. So that's why I'm doing streams for now. But I have a lot of videos in the work, to be honest. Still nada. I have a feeling the setup is completely wasted. I'm afraid to touch it because there's snow all over. I have a feeling the memory modules are wet. Yep. This is likely not gonna work. Let's see how far we can get cold-wise, though. Because that way I know for the next time, so that way we can just bump it up and go right to the cold. Try maybe 115. Because I think the setup's probably going to be dead at this point. When you start seeing memory, water on memory, I know I can't show you right now, but that's why I need my other stream box set up. So 114's good. 115, 116. See if we can get, if we're getting a little bit of cold scale at 116. Something failed. What happened here? So it looks like we might be done. We might be done. Where's the Viking hat? I know, right? I think we need some Viking helmet power right now. Because we're slacking. Ah, there we go. Fits like a glove. Hey Joe, been watching, but you got to go now. Enjoy, Slacker. Later, just an angel. Check you later, Slacker. I mean, he spends 80 on RAM. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? You ever game on LN2? You can. I'm OC a 3960X. Nice. Later, Slacker. Alright, so it looks like the system hung. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, it looks like shit right now. Well, let's see how unstable it is. It's still stable. Usually when Cinebench fails and it goes to shit, that means it's shit, but it's pretty good. Haha, you guys are late on the F. Alright, so now I'm channeling the horn power. So now this should just run, right? I think the setup's pretty much screwed at this point, but hey. Yeah. Usually when you start getting these, it's usually it could be low voltage too. Let me try. But I think we were running 5.5 with low voltage too, so I don't think that might be it. But we'll try it. We'll just play around a little bit. See if I can change the voltage. Where we at? 103? Gotta juice it. Not having fun. Alright. Let's try this. We're gonna try lower VSEN. I think it is memory, but hey. Is it possible to get a riser? The problem is if you have any risers affect performance. So you want to be careful when you use risers because you're basically taking a connection that should be closer. The closer the connection, technically the better you are. So when you introduce a riser, it kind of messes things up. So it really depends on what you're doing too. Run 5.3 to see if that, well, I'm going to actually change, I'm going to try to change the input again. You're really not supposed to try that high, but I've seen that same issue, so I wanted to make sure that if it's correct or not. So let's try 2.25. See if we still have that issue so we can replicate it. Whew. Sometimes when you make changes, like I said, you're going to have to do, it basically gets you screwed on how you boot, but I don't know, we're getting pretty much to the end of the line for this setup. Minus 37. It might be this probe. I'm just gonna have to replace the probe, I think. It likes to do some weird shit sometimes. Alright. So, let's see. Oh, that's right, we gotta set up mesh. Remember, when you raised mesh, that also doesn't help with, there we go. Doesn't help with OCP, because it actually, you're raising a lot more current that goes through. So, we got mesh set. Get XTU up. Alright, and turn it off. So we're at 105, let's get it to 110. I have a feeling it's not going to work no matter what. It's probably just going to reboot. I think memory is kind of screwed for this point. When it starts getting too cold. No, works fine. Alright, so that's actually our highest score we've had so far. And which is probably a more on point score for anything. I don't think it was a combination of the probe and the meter. The meter needed new batteries, so I think the connection might be a little bit off. I think that connector might be shot, to be honest. I'll have to take it apart and fix it. And these probes last forever. Like they don't really go bad. It's just the connection, because they're so hard to move. They kind of pull out of where it connects. So sometimes they can just get a little weird. All right, so 5.5 ran fine. Let's try. Oh shit! I keep on doing that. I'm so used to using that program. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get close to minus 120, and I'm gonna jump it up to 5.6, but not through there. All right, so 5.6. Let's get cold. 103. Still running. Let's see what we can do. No. I bet you if I lower mesh, it runs. Let's try that. Sometimes you have to find a balance. Back in the days with X99, we used to have to like tailor it. Oh, see the probe connector, new live stream. Nope, still nothing. Wonder if I could change input. We'll change it at just smaller increments. I think maybe we changed it too high, so. Because it seemed to be running pretty good on 5.5 with the lower one. It didn't like the higher one. So it seems to like it just little increments. Back on the Haswell days, we used to have to put that, like on the ES chips, we put it up to like 2.8. It's kind of crazy. Wow, that might be memory for sure. I don't like the look of it. Let's try a little bit more input, just because we can. We're at -1, or about -110. Try 2.3. No, it's just not having it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to maybe change the volts. Go up a little bit higher in volts and lower it a little bit. PCIe risers are not the same to directly rising the connections of a chip to the board. I don't even know what you're having, Audio Joe. Sure, LTD connected like a dozen PCIe risers together and tested with no lack of performance. I was thinking, well, depends on how LTD was actually testing, because back in the number one, it depends on the riser. It depends on what you're doing. LTT basically does stock stuff, nothing crazy. Oh yeah, we wanted to try it lower, didn't we? So 2.1. All right, what are we doing? Yeah, maybe we were on too high of input, so. Nah, even worse. So, my input, I really think it's actually voltage. Yeah. So, let's try this. Now we're changing too much stuff. It's probably going to shit. Well, here's the thing. So, I put risers, and it depends on the riser you use. And I've benched with cards at like 2400, 2500, 2600, and I actually technically use a little riser. But it's like this, and it's not like a cheap, you're talking about really solid connections. But you're increasing, I'm going to have to do a video on it just to show you guys, because it's something that's not really that easy to talk about. So we're going to go back up to 2.3. And we're going to do, I probably can't change the voltage here, but screw it, let's try it. Let's see if we can just get it working. Because really this setup's pretty shit, and we're just going to end up going over to the AMD stuff. The AMD stuff! It's funny, I keep on looking at your Audio Joe, and I keep on thinking it like you're talking to me every time. It's kind of annoying. Drive me nuts, because I keep on feeling like you're saying, Joe, do this, or something like that. Oh, man, I'm exhausted. Try sitting on your horns, it might help. No, I think the setup is just completely hosed as it is. It happens. And I don't want to push my mem too much. Oh, yeah, there's water going on, so I think we're gonna kill this and move on to the Ryzen stuff. Yeah, because I think this setup's pretty much done, and we're gonna have to basically clean it up and make sure it's running healthy, if you know what I'm saying. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see, I guess we can knock it down to 5.5. Well, technically I think I'm just gonna torch. Keep it hot though. Actually, yeah, minus 90. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my other profile back. Usually my torch is a lot quicker, but this is the smaller one. That's what she said, right? I love it. Oh my gosh. You guys are killing me with these risers. Wait till I get into the conversation with risers. And we're not talking about thermaltake risers. I'll show you guys the way. Alright, so we're gonna reboot. No more OS. And I think we're done with liquid nitrogen. So we're gonna heat up and we're gonna start setting up the other good stuff. Oh, and I'm still dragging ass today. I shouldn't have stayed up too late last night because I'm just tired as hell today. Maybe we'll have to set up another stream this week. Maybe Tuesday. Mondays are always shit for me. But you never know. Maybe a possibility on Monday. Let's just make sure we save this. It's supposed to tell you it's saved. Apparently not. So it don't matter. I already know what we have. So we're just gonna load the other one. There we go. Now it says restored. F10. So we'll give it a little heat. Now remember, I always heat it up to about positive 20. That way when you pull stuff off, it's not breaking because a lot of stuff freezes together. So you want to basically heat it up to about positive 20. And I'm going to keep the system powered on for now, just so that way the heater stays on. That way, because as soon as I turn it all off, it will basically just soak the whole system. So I want to try to get it down to plus 20. Thought on the Maximus Apex. Apex, a great motherboard. If you've checked out my older streams, when I did the 9900 KS, I was using the Apex. Great stuff. Let's talk about Ryzen. Okay, I went to sleep 03 and stood up at 8:20. It's safe, Steve. It's not around to mess with your torch. Ross. It always kills me when he does that. Don't mess with my torch, Steve. Don't mess with my torch. Let's see, it's safe. After one bottle of whiskey. Don't hurt yourself, buddy. LTD use risers for GPU. We were talking about CPUs here. It has nothing to do with each other. I think the riser on some level have negative effects on distance. It's the same for PCIe and CPU. The longer you get, the more problems you have usually. But it depends on what you're benchmarking too. If you play maybe like a small game that's not that graphic intensive, then it's not going to matter as much. But the game that's more graphic intensive, the less you're gonna have more issues with risers. I'll do a video on it just to show. I've had it in the plans for a while though. So we can pop this off. We're at positive 22. We have a lot of ice, so let's take all the power out so that way we don't fry anything. Could you use a riser for a 3950 direct die? See, again, you want to be careful because if you're gonna jump the CPU, right? You raise it. That means the traces down to your memory. Usually you want to get closer, not put them far away. But there could be a certain balancing of how much does it really affect it. I think you'd have to. It would depend on how you make the riser. It could be a possibility, but I see as it increasing problems. And to be honest, I don't know. We'd have to test, but I don't know. We'll have to talk to Roman about getting a delitter and trying it. I'm not sure for liquid nitrogen stuff that it's actually that beneficial, but we'll have to test because it's the first time testing the 3950X in a tiny bit. We're gonna boot it up, do the BIOS, just get it base. Ooh, look at all that water. Ice no good on PCs. This thing has LET all over. It's been like that for like 2 years and it still runs strong. It's a beast. Right. Never heard of CPU risers. Just because you never heard of it doesn't mean it don't exist. I don't think many people have actually made them. So. Alright. Now the first thing I usually do is dump the pot because there's always a shit ton of water in there. The second part is check out the mount, and I'm not too crazy about that mount. So that could be a reason why we were having issues after 5.5. Because it looks like it might be a bit off, and it is. So, narrow that one down to shitty mount. I need to lap these. So I think the next thing, before we get this down and bench this 10980 again, we need to lap all these pots and lap the chip. So that's going to be in the schedule. I don't know if we'll do a video on it or we'll figure out something, but definitely a bad mount. So we've negated anything we did today. I always love when that happens, but it happens. It's hard to tell how good the pot mount is sometimes, but it's definitely off because we weren't covering the whole chip. And when you don't cover the whole chip, you're not going to get good heat transfer. So that's probably why we only were stuck at 5.5. We ended up clocking the 5.6 no problem, but running a load that high, where you're talking about almost 1,000 watts. So that's the problem. But we'll save that for next time. We got to move on to the 3950X for now. Just want to do some basic cleaning. We're going to lap this. So the next time we do a stream on the 10980, we are going to give it a lap job. Who is that? Is that... Oh, Dust Till Dawn RTCC. Would you like to see LN2 the 9820X 10 core on X299 gigabyte? Would you help my water cooling OC? I don't have it at 9820X. That's the only thing that sucks. If I had one, I'd do it, but I don't. According to Bill Zoy, the resistance of normal CPU sockets is already a problem and causes issues with OCing. Exactly what I already said. It depends on how big the riser is. It might actually not be as bad as you think, though. He does a lot of theory. You need to test that out a little bit more. I think if you should go and basically... It would be an interesting test, because I don't think it would be too hard to build a riser. I still gotta fix that 3900X. I have stuff to do it over there, too. I sweat it all out. Impact should be pretty simple if you have good MEMS, and IMC is good. 4133, change to 1414, and raise memory. Yeah, my MEMS are epic, so... They should be pretty easy on the Apex, or the Impact. Can't keep up with all the name changes. Alright, so let's take this board out and move on to the next one. Only thing is, I just want to make sure I wipe it up. You can feel how hot the heater is on the back. And hot. Some water on it too. Well, yep, so we're done with that one. Probably move some stuff and clean up out of the way. Got some wet stuff. We don't want to get this whole area wet. Put it over there. Wipe this down, any water. All right, now we get to do the goodies. I never heard of risers. Would be stoked to see a video about it. It's Sunday, so I decided to slack the day away and come with you for a while. Nice, broski. What is my main PC setup? So I have a lot of PCs. I just use laptop for work because it's portable. But my new machine is going to be basically the Xeon W3175, the 28 core. I would use Threadripper, but to be honest, I need the 7 slots. Really, the PCIe is where it's at. One of the issues I have now that I don't have enough cameras is because I can't fit all my cards. I'm using a Z390 Dark right now, and it doesn't have enough PCIe slots for me to be able to use all my Elgatos. So we need to change that. So yeah, we're gonna end up using this big monster as my main PC. Now this big. Let's switch the views. Now this baby is gonna be my desktop machine. It's all dusty. It's gonna need a good cleaning first. But look at all this PCIe slots. I can put a bunch of Elgatos in there. The problem I don't like about this platform alone is just this socket. There's no hold down. So we have to use gotta be a little creative. But I have, yeah, just need to find a case for this monster behemoth. Alright, let's get down to it. So, we get to open that bad boy. And we get to open this bad boy. This thing, both of these have been sitting up there for way too long. So we need to play with AMD stuff a little bit. I'm so excited. So excited. Alright, so we'll save the CPU porn for a sec. And what we're going to do is we're going to check out this nice motherboard. It's the CROSSHAIR 8 Impact. Now, you must say, who gives a shit? What's so special about the Impact? Well, this is an overclocking monster board. And if you're into memory overclocking, this is the board to have. Now let's see why. So we're going to open up this puppy. Let me refresh YouTube because YouTube kind of sucks lately. They keep breaking this interface. So hold on one second. I'm getting there. I didn't leave you. Yes, so I have not even opened this before. I have not even looked at this motherboard. I kind of saw it there. But I have not even looked at this motherboard. I haven't even looked at anything. So, like, I'm super stoked. We're going to look at it for the first time together. I've seen a lot of stuff on it, but I've still not, like, looked at it. I haven't even tried to look at the board itself. So this is going to be the first time. Like I said before, the Impact was one of my favorite boards of all time. Like, it's definitely one of my top favorite boards. You have the board we were just on is one of my favorites, the X99 Gigabyte OC Champion. One of my most favorite boards. The Impact series, well, they don't really make Impact for Intel anymore. This is the first Impact on AMD, which is exciting. They've been making it since the Z95 or Z97 days. And I've benched it since. It's one of my favorite boards. It's so tiny, but it packs a punch. It's a tiny, you get a lot what you pay for it, so. But yeah, let's check this thing out. Look at this. Look how tiny this thing is. For reference, look at my hand and look at the board. This thing is so tiny. But it's pretty epic though when you come, I mean, let's take a look at the design. So One of the biggest pluses about this type of motherboard is this. You get 2 memory slots. You might be thinking, well, why am I getting gypped on memory slots, right? Well, it's kind of the opposite here. These have smaller or closer traces to the CPU. Remember we were talking about that on here. You can get higher memory clocks just for that. So the 2-DIMM board is actually more proficient at getting higher clocks on memory. So that's going to be very beneficial. I love this. For such a tiny little board, it seems very beefy. It's got a backplate, which is going to be a pain in the ass for liquid nitrogen because we're going to have to remove all this shit. And we're basically going to have to LET, and I just can't get over how tiny it is, right? It's like so small. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with it. It almost looks too tiny. So obviously we have the board. It is good looking. To be honest, this might be good for, I don't know, for a remote gaming board. I mean, for a 3950X, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, let's put this back and see what else is in the box. I think it was this way. Yes, it was. So let's pop that out of the box. That way we don't lose all of it. And I'll put it down here. I'll probably break it. It's okay though, because it's mine and I can. Better OC memory with 2 slots. Let's see. So let's see. We get cable mod. So a discount on cable mod. Highly recommended. Good guys. CDs. I don't even know why they did this. They might as well just give you the USB with it because CDs are pretty much useless. What do we got else? The booklet. So I highly recommend reading the booklets. That way you can find out for basic stuff on how to clear CMOS. Usually they have like an LN2 mode, so you usually use a switch. So it's always good to read the manual. To remove the armor above the I/O, grab your spare Intel IHS for the chipset. Oh yeah. I think I saw that before. What Keep Hating was saying is that you can basically remove all that section and put like one of the, say a deleted chip. You can take the IHS, put it on it, and it'll help cool it. So, but anyway, I always want to make sure you read the manual. They show you a bunch of good stuff in here. And we got stickers. That's the other thing. And my hands are too big. I can barely get in there. Oh, I feel like I'm killing stuff. Alright, so yeah, we got all this good Rogue stuff. Rogue. Got some nice stickers. Yeah, I feel like I am going to break this thing because it's so tiny. It's funny that the original impact is even smaller. It's like this big. So when you hold it, like I could literally hold it in one hand. It's nuts. We got a coaster frisbee. Woohoo! Then we got a nice message saying thank you for purchasing the choice of champions. All right. So what else we got in here? So can't even see. Remember, this is the first time I'm looking at it too, so I have no idea what the hell is in everything. Let's see. Probably looks like an expander for M2 drives, which is always nice. Interesting. We'll throw that back in there. We don't necessarily need that because I use SSD drives. I haven't been totally comfortable. I don't like using PCIe for M2s. Overclockers by nature use SSD. They usually have the least amount of issues. I haven't really tested in a while to see if M2s are even beneficial. I think they'll cause more issues in the long run where it comes to overclocking. Like, I'm talking about liquid nitrogen stuff, not regular stuff though. I feel like I'm on something over here. Oh, look at that. Yep, we got more cables. So, SATA cables. So basically there's 2 cables hidden under there, so if you think you got gypped, you really didn't. You just gotta look a little bit harder. And Jester, yes, I'm not gonna read the booklet. This isn't bedtime stories, children. Just kidding. But yeah, that seems to be all in there, and then we have a bunch of stuff in here. So let's see. I don't feel like going through that. Lots of cables. Looks like we have a bunch of RGB stuff. Probably for M2 right there, the little Nice. We got the Wi-Fi. It's integrated. We got, I think that's another RGB cable. And we got M2 screws. So you can use your M2 drives on it, which is nice. To be honest, unlike laptops and my desktops, I use M2s all the time. If you've never used M2s, you should. A lot of them are really, really fast. Good performance for the buck, depending on which one you buy. Right, so let's get the board out. I think we need to steal the foam from the other one. It is a pretty board. I am pretty impressed with it. Read me a bedtime story. Lower SoC can improve RAM stability. I've always heard the opposite. Higher SoC can. But it depends. Never understood why they send stickers. Come on, man. You gotta have stickers. What's wrong with stickers? You know, stickers help with performance, right? Horsepower. Free horsepower. To be honest, I don't think it matters unless it's a bearded hardware sticker. If it's a bearded hardware sticker, then it's amazing. Alright, so, man, this thing is so tiny compared to the other one. It's pretty fun. Take my little foam that I usually use. That's funny. That's the size of the other board. Here's the size of the new board. Big difference. Alright, so I guess it's time to open up the CPU port. Oh, it's amazing. And to be honest, I always keep the booklet. You never know, like stupid stuff. Like if we look at the board, let's go over the board a little bit first. So usually Asus has a couple different switches that they use for going cold. So for the longest time on the Rogue boards. One of my other favorite boards, I think, was the X79 Rampage Extreme Black Edition. Awesome board. Broke a bunch of records with that one, too. Let's see. Usually what they have is they usually have a button for LN2. So you basically hit a switch. You gotta have stickers because you gotta stick with it. Bad sticker jokes. Not so good. So, but anyway, so usually on the Rogue system, we usually have a couple different like switches and buttons and stuff like that for overclocking. One is LN2 mode. Usually LN2 mode, what it does is it sets certain voltages. You got to be careful because you don't want to use LN2 mode on water. Depending on the board, sometimes it can cause more issues, like overheating. So you don't want to do an LN2 mode on air because it might kill your chip. So there is ways around it by maybe hard forcing some of the stuff, but let's see. A lot of the times they have an LN2 mode, so you turn that on and off. A lot of the times they have what's called slow mode. So if you ever see where you see a very, very high frequency, that's usually with memory frequency. It's usually done with slow mode. Or if you ever seen like 6 gig on or they say like 6.5 on an 18 core, that's because they're using the slow mode switch. What it does is when you hit that slow mode switch, it drops the multiplier to 8. So what you can do is you basically trigger it, drop to 8, trigger it, drop to 8, and you only do on one core, or you can do multiple cores. It depends on the chip and stuff, but they usually have a slow mode switch. Now on certain boards like the Apex boards on the Intel, they have what's called an RSVID, or was it RSVD switch? And that was to help with benching on cold, where you just hit the switch, and you're allowed to bench cold. You don't have to try to figure out certain voltages. It gives you kind of like a baseline mapping. The only problem with that is if you left the RSVD switch on and you get warm, you could kill the chip. I'm not sure if AMD has one of those. You know the best place to look, right? It's in the manual. In the manual! Audio seems to be pretty fine. If your audio is out of sync, maybe refresh that shit. YouTube's been kind of off lately. I don't know if it's because so many people are on YouTube, but it's hard to say, but I've noticed it for the past 2 streams that it gets out. If you focus the main board, he looks like a giant. I know, isn't it crazy? So let's, I'm going to look in the manual, because I'm going to make sure that I set everything right. I have a tendency, I remember Asus sent me a Z370 board, I think it was, or Z270. I was doing some overclocking for them, and they sent me the board, and I didn't realize it, but it actually, the LN, on the ES boards, the early revision boards, they basically had the opposite. So when you hit the LN2 mode, it was actually the opposite side. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if it was on a I know on my board it was like that, so I don't know if it was strictly ES, but it was weird. They kind of messed it up. Memo K. Memo K is like a mem test where you hit the button and it will go through and do mem test to make sure mem was okay. I never use it, so I think that's what it does, but I really never use it. Let's see. So we're going through the book. It's the X570 chipset. You know what pisses me off is that I can't use a 3000G in this thing. I know we're setting up something with maybe Timmy Joe PC Tech and then also hardware numbers. We were gonna do like a little competition, but I might have to break out my CROSSHAIR for X470 for that. But it's kind of a pain in the ass. They should have you should be able to use the 3000G in this badass motherboard. But apparently it doesn't have X570 support. So usually on this page, where you can see it has the layouts and stuff, you can kind of see what the switches are. So if I look over and try to find slow mode switches, number 9. So it looks like the slow mode switch is this button right here. So it's a button this time. Usually they use a dip switch, so that's interesting. Oh, actually, no, that's a retry button. Oh, no. So this switch right here is the slow mode, which is really weird because it was on. So that's probably bad, actually. So if the slow mode switch is on, what that means is it locks the 8 multiplier. So I don't know why that would be on from the factory. That's kind of concerning, actually. So I'm wondering if this is a used board that they sold me as new. Because even the slot looks a little bit dirty. Ruh-roh. Let's see. So the slow mode is that switch. This is the retry button, and the retry button is basically if you want to train memory. Sometimes you'll need to reboot several times to try to get it in there. So basically you can just hit it, right? The other button next to it is the safe boot button. Now I forget what that button does. This is the problem between going from MSI to EVGA, back to ASRock, back to MSI, back to Asus. You go crazy. Men don't read manuals. By default, my CPU has slow-mo mode. It's called stock speeds. I like that one. That one's pretty true. Pretty funny. Alright, so let's look at the other switches. So we have an LN2 mode jumper, which is number 14. So I think it's right there. So obviously we're not going to put LN2 mode on now. We'll only use it when we want to go LN2. So as long as we know where it is, we're just going to make sure that it's accessible. Really, I hate these. Really, I wish it was a switch because my big-ass hands, it's not very easy to get to. I wish they would do something about that, but I don't know. I've said it for years, but they don't seem to listen. But anyways, so yeah. It looks like, I'm trying to see, so most of the stuff that we're going to be using is, we'll probably use retry button a lot, LN2 mode, trying to see, and that seems to be it. One of my favorite features with the Asus boards, so we'll put this down. We'll read it later when I go to bed. Now, what I was saying though, is usually with the Asus boards, what I like is they have a feature called BIOS flashback. So what happens is say you have this board, you haven't touched it for a while, and say they come out with X5 or 670, right? And this supports it, but you need a BIOS flash, and you don't have an X570 chip. What you could do is you just put in you download a file to USB, you stick it in there. All you have to do is put power to it, and it will flash the BIOS on here without even having the chip installed. Well, I don't know if it's the same on the AMD side, but that's usually what it is on the Intel side. I'm thinking it's probably the same. But yeah, you don't even need a chip or anything to basically flash the BIOS, so you don't have to worry about having a lot of the times back in the day we had to use like an older CPU or have a friend or buddy who has that CPU, put it in there, flash the BIOS, and then go in. And that makes it nice where you can just basically flash the BIOS without a chip. You don't have to worry about it. It's one thing that Asus does really, really well, and you can't blame them for that one. So, all right, enough about the board. Shit, I don't know where my knife is. So I need to get a knife, and we're gonna open this puppy up. A brand new 3950X. Oh yeah, I love the sound of that. Let's see. I know I have a knife. I feel like I got knives everywhere. Break out my French knife. You guys remember this one, right? From some of the first videos that I did. And we're gonna open this puppy. Gonna slit it. This thing's kind of dull. I need to sharpen it. Are you guys excited as I am? I am super stoked. Watch I drop it on the ground like I did the other one. Luckily I have good CRC and not Steve's CRC. But yeah, look at that puppy. A brand new 3950X. So pretty. So pretty. Not as pretty as the beard, but it's pretty. And then, I think what we'll use is... Oh, that's right, they don't come with a cooler. Why is that anyway? You figure you spend so much money on this that they should give you a damn cooler. I don't get it. It's like such a big packaging for a small CPU. I feel like they're almost fooling you on like you should have a cooler in it. I don't know, I'm just messing anyway. I love to mess with the packaging. Even like the 9900K, you had it in this big ball and you're looking in it and it's got this little CPU. Like, do you really need that big of a box? I feel like I deserve more, you know, just how it is. But still, I love it. And yes, it's an Opinel, or Opinel, or I forget how you say it, but hope you get a golden silicone. I hope so too. The problem is I need to figure out a cooler. I don't know if I have an air cooler. And if I have to set up water, it's kind of more of a pain in the ass because it means I'll have to drain my current loop and switch out blocks. So let me see if I have a stock cooler that we can do base settings with. If I remember correctly, the 3900X came with a cooler. It's kind of crazy that the 3900X has a bigger box than the 3950X. Kind of strange. I don't know how they do this, but... So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 3900X cooler from the chip that I pretty much killed, but I'm bringing it back to life. That's going to be a cool video, by the way, too. I'm curious to why they give you a cooler for this one, but don't give you one for the 16 core. To me, that doesn't make much sense, but... Hey, I don't think... Hey, what are you going to do, though? I'll end up replacing it anyway. I'm just nitpicking. It just seems kind of weird that on a 12 core you get a cooler, but 16 core you don't. You pay more money for 4 cores, but you don't get the cooler. I don't know about that. Seems kind of weird. Seems like some shenanigans. What's up, Donnie? They make packaging large so you can see it on the shelves and sticks out. Yeah, it's probably also for theft, too. Because I know this stuff would probably be... Oh, that's the RGB cable. We don't need RGB right now. So we'll keep that out of the way. put it back up here because they're so pretty. All right. So what we're gonna do my best Julia Childs, and we put the CPU. Not too bad. It's because the 16 core needs the LN2 cooled. Now we're no AMD hating here. We wouldn't have all this goodness coming out from Intel too. And we wouldn't have this if it wasn't for AMD. So I cannot hate on them at all right now. Because they're changing. With competition drives innovation. So I cannot hate on them at all. Because we wouldn't have this such good-ass stuff if it wasn't for them right now. To be honest, it's almost their fault in a way. Because they were doing shitty, but whatever. All I know is I got an awesome 16 core in my hand right now, and I'm totally stoked. And you know what? I'm just going to actually I'm going to see how the stock paste and stuff holds up. I've never really tested an AMD cooler. I think this is the first time. There's a first time for everything. To be honest, it doesn't look that bad as a cooler. I really think they should include this with the 3950X. I don't know why they don't, but I think it looks pretty cool. The only thing that kind of worries me, I guess memory shouldn't be that much of an issue. Let's do a little bit of cleaning. I just hate my 1060 sometimes. Where are my pearls? We can go way off subject here. But yes, so if you're new to the stream, we basically got done with the 10980X XE. We had a couple issues. I think memory's getting cold after a while. We did some benching about 5.5, 5.6. Started having some issues, and then the mount went to shit. But now, we wanted to mess with the competitor to see what it's all about. This is the first time testing the 3950X. If you've seen my streams with Steve from Gamers Nexus, we've done 3900X, we've done Threadripper, we've done 2700X, we've done a bunch of different stuff. So clean. All right. All right, we gotta make sure. So we're gonna put on this cooler. Let's actually make sure. We might want to put it on this way. What's going on there? Oh, there we go. Feel like we're a little off. I'm really curious to see how the temperatures are on this. Why can't we get this on here? Let's see. Oh, this one is not helping. No, I think I'm gonna bust it. Let's see. That's what I hate about small boards. You can't see shit. Oh, it helps it move a little bit from the side, so. Got one side on. Something. Why does this not even come close? Oh, that's why. No, I like to do it the difficult way. Alright, so I think it was there. Sure as hell don't make it easy for these. I must feel like it's better if I do this side first. Maybe I should read the directions, right? Problem is my hands are too big. Ah! Why is it so difficult? That's why I just throw liquid nitrogen on it. Can't get this. It's like teeter-tottering. Yeah, it looks like you have to do it. You have to take it up. I don't like that at all. I don't like how you have to change. You basically have to pop it up, so it's just a pain in the ass. It's not that bad. It's just when I stick the sandwich it, I don't want it to come back off because you're basically adding air in there. So I wish I kind of knew that before. I feel like I'm gonna break it. Alright, I think we're on. That was a little bit much, if you ask me, but it looks pretty solid offhand. I mean, it's much better than them old-ass Intel ones, you know? Interested to see how well it does. So let's pop this bad boy in there. And let's get some... We need some RAM. Do side without the lever first, and then levers. Yeah, you have to pull it up and just go basically under like this, and then go. It's kind of annoying. It is an art. I bet you I can do it easier now. Let's see. Let me see if I can find that Neo memory real quick. I forget where I put it. Where are you, Neo? Well, it's probably in the hardware closet. Neo. Shit. Now I don't know where I put him. That's strange. I had all the memory up there. Wonder if they fell behind. Anyways, we'll just choose some of these sticks. We'll take two of my gilded ones. That's right. ASRock did an X399 micro. Yeah, it seems like ASRock's the only one that really does the mini ITX ones anymore. Well, obviously the Impact now, but before. I'm so excited. This board is probably going to be like one of my boards maybe I do on an editing machine. So if I need a portable editor, like usually when I go to Computex and stuff, it's so difficult to edit, like especially if you're doing like high quality videos and stuff. There we go. Awfully close. So let's see, we got that. CPU. We only need one CPU connector. Alright, we need to get a different keyboard. That's a PS2 keyboard. We need to use a USB one. And this is probably not going to work. Change it up a little bit. If you guys don't... Whoa! Breaking shit. Move. Yeah, I'm going to end up changing the studio this week. I need to put that big table in. The one I got from Thermaltake. It's a badass gaming table. It's massive. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's expensive. It's basically fully electric. Now you can take a 60-core video editing monster in an ITX case. How times have changed. I know, right? I mean, back in the day, you had like, what is it? Like the 920, what is that? Nehalem architecture. You could get a mini ITX. That was pretty beast. Especially when laptops were such shit. I mean, even now, most laptops are still shit. But all right, so let's see. We got. I think we have everything, right? I don't like how the fish covers. Basically, this is one of the problems with this small of a board. I'm probably gonna have to use a riser, so that way this stays away. So we used to use risers all the time for, especially 2D, because then you don't have to keep it near, and it gives you more room for the pots and stuff like that. So I'd probably do something like that, because I can't get in here to see slow mode. You turn that off. I don't know, let's get some power to it. Ooh, pretty RGB. Let's see. So let's boot this puppy up, see what it does. Ooh, the cooler's not so bad. Actually, I'm kind of impressed with the AMD cooler here. I wonder what kind of temps we're gonna see. I do like that on the Impact now that they have where SSD or the SATA connector goes in from the side and the top, so you can do both. I'm wondering if they're both connected to the same thing, because sometimes you just want to put it in from the side just for benching wise, and then in a case wise, I'll probably do it on the side so that way it doesn't stick out the side. So nice. So we're booting up. Let me switch over and see what type of settings we got, because really the trick is to pretty much get used to just set it up to get it working, so that way we can play with it. What's up, slackers? Says fan speed hardware switch on the CPU cooler can be set to low and high. Where is the switch? I'm relatively new to AMD coolers, so this is the first. Where is there a switch? Gotta watch the beard. I don't see no damn switch. Are you messing with me? You messing with me? Hardware, okay, so let's see. Let's get into... Remember, I've only benched AMD on MSI for a long time now. I have an X470 that we benched 2700X with Steve, which was a pretty cool ass stream, actually. I think that was one of our first streams together. So 42C, not so bad. I think what we want to monitor, so 45C, CPU fan speed. It's funny, I plugged it into the right one. Usually I always put it in another one, so that seems fine. Obviously I'm gonna have to go download. All right, let's see. All right. So one of the things we have to do is, let me switch this over while that's running. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over, usually, here's a little bit of a tip for most new benchers. You go to hwbot.org. This is where you update submissions. This is kind of how you want to put a bunch of stuff in. If you bench and you want to compare to others, you can basically go. The forum over there has some great information. And Asus usually puts in a lot of different stuff over here as far as OC packs, so you can get software. So if we look at AMD overclocking, do they not have it here now? Ryzen, there it is. All right, so we see here CROSSHAIR Impact LN2 guide. Safe disk, good dude. Works for Asus now. He's from Korea. Very, very good dude. So if you see here, we have a bunch of different stuff. So you probably want to use, we need to figure out which BIOS we want to use. So he's saying here, the Rogue CROSSHAIR BIOS 4445. Fixes memory divider issue. So this is a good spot when you want to first start overclocking a board. Check over at HWBot in the forum. Look at it, see what's there. What we're going to do is we're going to download some of this stuff. So let's download the Impact stuff. Usually they give you like an OC pack. Looks like he's only doing BIOS. We're going to download, oh, wrong one. Just going to download. That was weird. Did it download? Oh. Weird. Acting strange. Oh, there it is. Bear with me a second. Alright. Alright. So we have this zip. First thing I usually do is go into properties. You'll see this will come up. What we want to do is unblock. Hit apply. And then what we're going to do is zip it or extract it. So now we have the two BIOSes. Now we're already in the BIOS, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a USB drive. If I can find the USB drive. And if you just join in, so if you join my Patreon, we have some giveaways. We got the first one planned. This is a 1070 gigabyte OC edition. There's going to be a giveaway on Patreon. So if you go to the Patreon, there's a Discord. You pay monthly, and you basically can get the Discord access. And, you know, I'm in there all the time and basically shooting the shit. If you want to talk and be more about the videos and be part of the OC crowd, come enjoy. There's probably a bunch of guys already that are already on it here. So ask them about it. Why is this so difficult? There we go. Actually, wrong one. Good luck trolling this audience. Ha! Heh. All right. Ooh, we have Inspector on here. So this is a program Let's see. Let's put this on her. This was a program that you can turn off. So what I was saying before is 9980XE, you can basically turn off the patches. You can't do this on 10980XE. So this is something pretty cool that you can do where you can get more performance by disabling Meltdown and then disable Inspector. But yeah, again, you can't do it on 10980XE, so. But yeah, just thought I'd show that to you because it was on here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy these two BIOSes. Actually, I'm gonna create a folder, I think. That way I know it's Asus Impact. Underscore AMD underscore Impact. So what we're gonna do is just copy them over. Really? Oh, I gotta go to the other one. Let's do this. Sweet. So we copy them over. Now we can go back over to the setup. Keep messing up buttons and shit. Alright, so we can pop that out and do the BIOS. This is all the fun stuff that I usually do before I show you, so I figured, why not do that as we're calming down from doing all the liquid nitrogen stuff. So let's see. So we're basically gonna go to storage device. Can you guys see? Yeah. Shit, did I not copy over right? Bastards. Let's see. I hate when shit like this happens. Of course it failed. I hate that with Windows 10 sometimes. Oh shit. Of course now I opened up Photoshop, opened up a bunch of different shit on accident. Nice. Alright, so let's go back to downloads. Redo basically what I just did. This time we'll copy instead of move and make sure it actually gets copied over. Okay, where's H? Oh, I'm just on the wrong drive. I'm confusing myself here, slackers. All right. Means I need to delete something. All right, I think we're good. Just gotta wait for it to finish copying. Well, what's going on, slackers? Are you enjoying? Are you having some time? What's going on? I forgot I even had the horns on. Maybe we need to turn the horns down. Maybe we're just doing too crazy. Seems like it's running pretty hot. I wonder if it's the voltage. 1465 is what it's booting at right now. Seems like extremely high. Why do we need that high? Oh, I'm not gonna mess with this BIOS until I get the new one on. So, all right, we got new BIOS. Yeah, auto at one point, like, I guarantee you this is gonna drop in crazy temps in a bit. What the hell was I doing? Actually, what's the difference between? So if I looked on there, need to find out the difference because there's two BIOSes in there. I'm gonna use 45 because then we can retry memory. Where the hell is this switch on the cooler? Can't see anything. Alright, so auto sucks, but we're gonna go to the retry BIOS. So the retry button is to basically, for memory overclocking, we want to basically keep being able to retry. So I guess the trick is to hit this button so it keeps on retrying, and because when you're trying to go through memory training, you want it to keep retrying. Sometimes it won't fail, so you hit retry. Maybe 3 out of 10 times it might actually work. So you want to keep on hitting that retry button and banging it out. Alright, so we're flashing the BIOS. Tiny little switch by the RGB connector. I can't even see. I need a flashlight. Where's my phone? Oh, I see it. Bro, can they make these things any tinier? Like, ridiculous. Alright, now we're on high. So I'm wondering how much of a difference it's gonna make. Alright, so we did find it! Yay! Oh, don't mind me, I'm dragging ass today. Waiting for the BIOS to flash. What are you slackers doing? Are you enjoying today's stream? If you're new here, like and subscribe. If you want to get more personal, join my Patreon, Bearded Hardware. I think I'm going to have to set up something for YouTube too. That's the next thing, but I got to get some more time, so I think maybe after this week I'm finally going to get some more time to actually bench. Finally using a nice board, hot slacker. Dan Cop. Yeah, there's also a number to limit the number of retries for memory training. Slack, slack, slack. Seems like a BIOS flash takes forever on AMD. It's one of the things I've noticed with X570, especially with the MSI board. Takes forever. So if you're just joining, we're on basically just opened up a brand new 3950X. And the newest Asus X570. It's the Rogue CROSSHAIR 8, I think, impact. It's the only impact that they make for AMD, so. It's the sheriff in town. Or Sharif. I kind of like Sharif, man. Drinking some home from work until June due to virus. Damn. That's pretty crazy, bro. I don't know. I think after this whole virus thing, I'm probably just going to go YouTube full time. I might not have a job otherwise, so we'll see. I do contract work, so basically I'm in between contracts, so we might have to just try to do YouTube every day. To be honest, I'd probably enjoy that because making videos is very therapeutic for me. No slack here. No, basically the switch is on the opposite side. So, well, yeah, it's on the same as the RGB headers. So it's on the opposite side. So you have the fan the fan plug, and then on the opposite side, over to the left, right here, is basically where it's at. Old school Relou. Why does 0045 BIOS suck? Let me know. Sometimes when you have BIOSes like this might not be the best BIOS for daily. Sometimes you have BIOS that are good for memory overclocking. There's a bunch of different. Sometimes you have one that's good for CPU. You'd be surprised. Mate, I just dropped in. Are you testing AMD at the moment, right? Yes, I am. I'm testing a brand new 3950X retail. No ES stuff here. This is basically what you see is what you get in the store. So I ended up buying it a while ago, and I've just gotten so busy with doing Threadripper and doing Intel 10980XE stuff and 9900K stuff. So we're finally getting around to the AMD 3950X on the Asus ROG CROSSHAIR 8 Impact. To be honest, this board is so... My hand is pretty much bigger than this whole damn system. It's kind of crazy. It's pretty cool. You had memory issues, huh? Well, I don't know. Maybe you have bad memory. More likes than viewers. Yeah, that's what happens. We lost a couple viewers because we were doing liquid nitrogen stuff. We had a couple of issues. We got memory on point. I think another session with... the CPU, and I think we'll do pretty well. We had some issues where basically we just reboot itself. It could have been also good water in the socket. There could have been numerous reasons, but we were much farther than we were last time. So we were at the 5.5. We could pretty much run 5.5 a lot. But yeah, so now it's time to see what AMD's got, huh? We also have Threadripper sitting over there. We have that W3175 that we're going to be building in for my my personal box. Oop. See how much LN2 we have. See, we're putting the AMD on LN2. Not much though. Just want to be careful because sometimes when you have the LN2 is it builds up moisture around the sides, so you can actually be pouring water on there. But ooh, isn't that cool? Bring down that temperature a little bit. That LN2 right on there. Man, how long does this take? Pentium 4 Prescott LN2 someday. Love me some nostalgia. That might be a good... I don't know. It's either that or doing some of like the older AMD stuff. Because... technically, I think AMD has the world record as far as the highest processor or CPU. But the problem is I'd have to go through a shit ton of them. Let's see. What is this one? Need music back on. All right. Great. Make them sweat. I don't sweat. There are way more BIOS files and stuff further down the thread. You got 4 or 5. Maybe you have a look of them. Well, what I usually like to do is I usually don't listen to what people say. I usually... do a little bit more than theory, you know what I mean? So what I like to do is I like to test each one. So I'm going to end up spending a lot of time testing 44, then testing 45, because you never know where you can get your advantage in. The more you test and the more you go through and checking stuff is really where you make some major progress, especially if you want to be competitive. But I do want to go through that whole thread and see... a little bit more info. Oh, is that an older one? Sorry, if you're just following along, I'm over on the, this is what I wanted. So I wanted to download the OC pack. So let's move that over so you guys can see what I'm doing. Right now I'm over at hwbot.org, and I'm going through and checking to see. On here, if you look in the AMD section, if you go to the forums on hwbot.org and you go through, Asus likes to put up like a whole guide on how to bench it, right? So it's a good, basically, initial start. And you basically work through there. Let's see. So I always go through. So it looks like we have a 50 BIOS for the CROSSHAIR Impact. Looks like it's the newer EVGA, and then you had the fixed mem clock frequencies for 5. Add micron tuning, Hynix tuning. Interesting, it adds a Hynix one. Yeah, because what we're going to do is, my main goal for having this one is I really wanted to push memory on AMD. So, Impact seems like a really good board. So, I've always had a history of benching memory with the Impact boards. Basically, DDR3, stuff like that. It's when I usually used to get into memory frequency a lot. So, basically what I want to do is I want to basically go through and we're going to test Hynix modules. We're not going to do that today, of course. We're going to do memory streams. So the initial part is to get this all set up. And then to start going through and checking and testing memory. So what I'm going to end up doing is probably just doing a major memory stream. Just going through and binning memory. Because I have a lot of Hynix memory that I can show you how to basically bin memory. So what we're just doing now is just setting up. So I'm just going through all the stuff here. Some really good info. It looks like here that... the CLO VDDG is now separated, so you have the CDD and IOD. You can set different voltage, and it helps under LN2. Nice. Usually they hide stuff under Tweaker's Paradise, so it looks like VDDP is now under there. You have TRFC, TRFC2, 4. Now max value you can do is 1023, so that usually helps with high memory frequency. Yeah, I'm gonna have to add all of them. Did somebody do? Someone did 8 gig on Bulldozer, I think. Not just. I think it's like 8.4. Andre Yang. He used to be a pretty prevalent overclocker, #1 for a while, and but he's out of it for years now. I think he did that back maybe 2011 or 2010 or something like that, or somewhere around that. That record's probably never gonna fall. Let's see, so we need the OC pack, so we need to get the Turbo V and OCC tools. Remember I was talking about USB flashback. This is a great little utility to flash your BIOS. So I'm going to go through some of the things. So we're obviously going to bench this on LN2, but I'd like to go through and read up on pretty much what's going on. So it says obviously it's the F clock cold bug under LN2. Stay around 14 to 1600 F clock. That's usually the norm. Improved stability is VDDG, SoC 1.28, and disable the DFC states. Says it typically use 1.55 SoC just to get as high as the F clock cold bug margin as possible. So basically what that's talking about is a lot of the times we have issues when it comes to the F clock, especially when we go into cold. So what we're going to end up doing is when we put it on liquid nitrogen, we'll have to go through this and test each one. It'd be kind of fun to go down and test each individual. Like I have on the MSI board where we would go like 1466, 1500, 15. Like the problem is you waste a lot of liquid nitrogen and you go keep on playing with it. But you'll see there's a lot of good information here, especially if you just want to overclock anything when it comes to this board. Asus is usually pretty good like this. So you'll see the biggest problem on the platform is the 1200 default. It's supposed to go to 1.1. It's the whole basically memory latency if you're not doing 1-to-1. Nice, you did 7.8 on FX. I don't think I've even done 8 gig. I just never tried. Let's see, postcodes, too high fabric. I've heard things where maybe you couldn't get high fabric, but I noticed on the MSI board it's pretty easy. Trying to see. Postcodes 23 F9. So 23 is usually the same way on Intel. No bias. Either way, you have clear CMOS or waste 5 times. So it looks like we're gonna end up having to play a bunch with this. That's the hero. Here's the little impact. So pretty. So there's a lot of guys and they have a lot of submissions and stuff like that, so I highly recommend it. You can actually see like by the link of where it's at. You want to basically come here. Now this will help with regular overclocking too, so it will give you a bunch of information, so you want to check it out here. So let's see, let's go back over. We're just gonna go through and see some of the settings, see what's going on. Maybe pour some more Allen-2 on it because it's fun. Oop, let's switch over to the other view so you can see my pretty face. Alright, we'll pour some more Allen-2 just because we can, because it looks badass, don't it? And let's see. So it's pretty much a normal. The Asus BIOS is actually pretty easy to go. Let me see. So this one's still at 145. It seems awfully high. Obviously the temperatures are down because I messed with it. You got your basic memory settings. Let me see. Precision boost override. Trying to just go through and see what they have available. A lot of the times you gotta try to figure out where everything is located because, I don't know, Asus tends to wander a little bit wander around like for settings. It's nice to see that they started moving some settings more together. Well, you usually have to go through, and one of the nicest things is I love these mem profiles because typing in a bunch of the stuff tends to be pretty awful, especially when you start going into the thirds and trying to get every setting, especially when you're used to one board versus going to another board. So slackers, we're at 271 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 300 likes. I'm not sure how much longer we're gonna do. I've been tired all damn day. It's been kind of a little bit of a struggle today since I was up so late trying to get everything done. We got Tweaker's Paradise. This is usually where they put a crap load of stuff in there. Yeah, so I think I'm going to end up probably needing some time to fiddle and play around with this. Probably not today, but within the next day or two to try to figure out, get some base settings. I need to play a little bit, just figure out a couple different things, but yeah, it looks like we're all ready to go. I'm going to have to install an operating system. I don't know, maybe we'll do that as far as maybe a first one. I don't know, because we're going to need an operating system that we're going to need to test memory out with. We want to make sure that something that's stable. So one of you guys ever OC'd a Q6600? Q6600, dude, that was a long time ago. I can't even remember. Best way is to probably check out HWBot and look for the Q6600 because I know there were some pretty good ones there. The 4133 1.8, so you gotta understand that these modules are way better than probably what normal people are used to. These are binned out of hundreds of sticks, so. But yeah, guys, we're been going on for almost 4 hours now. I think I'm just gonna call it for today. I'm glad you guys stuck with me through all these hours, but man, I'm pretty damn exhausted. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play around a little bit, get some base settings down, get an operating system installed, kind of just play with it a little bit, and then I think what we'll do is we'll end up doing a stream, kind of go through and kind of compare performance to the 10980XE, because I'm pretty damn exhausted at this point, and I've been tired throughout the whole stream, even with 3 damn Red Bulls. So, but I love you guys. Keep slacking. Make sure you check out beardedhardware.com. You want to buy shirts, I can autograph there. If not, if you were in Europe or anywhere else, I think you could pretty much order from the Teespring site that's on YouTube itself. So order some shirts. I should have them. I was supposed to work on finish getting the ones that are owed out now. Tonight, I'm probably going to just do that tomorrow instead. So if you're waiting for shirts, going to be sent out on Tuesday instead of Monday. But yeah, so I guess till next time, yeah, we'll end up, we'll do something sooner rather than later, and I got some videos, in the works, so, got a bunch of shit, but yeah, I'll check you guys later, most likely in about a day or two, maybe even tomorrow. It depends on how my work schedule is. My work schedule has been really crazy lately, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too much tomorrow, but I can't make any promises. Without a doubt, I'll do Tuesday night no matter what. So, but yeah, so figure Tuesday, maybe on Monday. We'll see. But, guys, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys liking and subscribing. If you haven't, please try to, because what it does is it increases and helps support the channel, and we want to make sure we do a lot of these. So you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching the stream. I'm gonna see you later. Slacker out.